You'd hope that they appreciate it. It's hard to appreciate what you have in real time. It's not normally when you're retired and you look back. You'd hope that they appreciate it. They're walking out into one of the great stadiums in the world, the Champions League. Their careers, they'll be going some to better this night, this environment. It's just incredible.
Callum McGregor, Tom, looking very, very calm there as he leads his team out in that magnificent arena. What realistic chance can you give Celtic tonight?
They have to score early. They might have to score twice. They have to unsettle Bayern Munich, find a way, and if they don't score early, find a way of staying in the game, staying in the fight, and see what happens. You know, the longer it stays 0-0, if they're not going to score early, the better for Celtic. Maybe turn the crowd, but they can't concede first, or else it's done.
Listen to that roar. Listen to that atmosphere. It's time now to sit back and enjoy the action. European nights and sports sound don't get much bigger than this. It's Bayern Munich against Celtic in the Champions League with Pat Bonner and Thomas Duncan.
Thanks, Kenny. It is simply one of the most daunting tasks in all of European football to go to the Allianz Arena and win, with no other results good enough for Celtic if they want to reach the last 16 of this most coveted of competitions. You could look at nearly any statistic you like, whether it's Bayern's home record in this competition, Celtic's away record in this competition. The fact that Celtic have never progressed at this level after losing the first leg at home, but in the end, no one is invincible, no one is unbeatable. And Bayern at the weekend, though they drew against Leverkusen, they were perhaps fortunate to do so. And Leverkusen, a quality side, one of Europe's elites, along with Bayern they may be, but they made life difficult for this Bayern side, who are intimidating, yes, but certainly have a few question marks around them. And Vincent Kompany's first season in charge, and the players just getting ready. A smile on the face of Brendan Rodgers as he embraces Vincent Kompany, the man in the opposite dugout. And the teams tonight: Bayern Munich, Neuer in goal, Stanisic, Upamecano, Kim and Guerrero the back four, Kimmich, Goretzka holding midfield, Elise, Musiala and Gnabry playing in behind Harry Kane. As for Celtic, Schmeichel in goals, Johnston, Carter Vickers, Trusty and Schlupp the back four, Engels and Hatate either side of McGregor, the captain in midfield. Dyson Maeda leads the line with Nicholas Kuhn and Jota on the flanks. It is as strong a team as Celtic could reasonably name, and Brendan Rodgers will hope they can get the job done as the stadium prepares for a moment's silence in memory of the victims of last week's attack in Munich. Both teams will also wear black armbands, and the stadium announcer just preparing the crowds in Munich to observe a moment's reflection for those who lost their lives on the referee's whistle. Both sets of players around the centre circle, linking arms, heads bowed, as the lively atmosphere falls subdued for this moment's silence. Well, some fans breaking out into applause there. A poignant moment. A city hurting from a tragic event. And now the players break and get ready for this game. Celtic perform their traditional pre-match huddle. A thunderous roar coming from the Allianz Arena stands. Bayern Munich, heavy favourites, leading 2-1 on aggregate. And can Celtic carry on in the same vein that they ended the first leg in Glasgow when Dyson Maeda's goal 11 minutes from time gave them hope, gave them life, as Bayern striker Harry Kane pulls up his socks? How big a say will he have he tends to have a big one. 29 goals this season. And the sides are lined up waiting for the French referee Benoit Bastien to blow the whistle, and we are underway in Munich. Celtic cannot leave anything out there on the Allianz Arena turf. They must win at least by 1 goal to force extra time if they want to remain in the Champions League and continue what has been a campaign thus far of significant improvement. Bayern already with an early throw-in down the right-hand side of the Celtic box, and it's played backwards, and it's now with Upamecano halfway up the Celtic half, and they'll spread it to the left-hand side, and Guerrero forward for Gnabry. One of the 3 changes from the first leg made by Vincent Kompany.
Yeah, you can see right at the very start that Celtic's intent will be to press what obviously had Tati join and Maeda, but Maeda is the trigger to try to put Kim, Upamecano and the goalkeeper under pressure.
And he's doing that right now. Daizen Maeda forced Kim into a really awkward position, then put the sliding challenge in. It pings out for a throw-in, but that is exactly what Brendan Rodgers wants from Daizen Maeda, and that's why he's played him through the middle tonight. And it's thrown forward by Celtic. Maeda backing in to Kim. It breaks into midfield for Callum McGregor. Back to Carter Vickers, and square for his centre-back partner Austin Trusty, but good pressure from Bayern Munich forces Celtic all the way back to Schmeichel, the edge of his own box, and he's chipped one out, but it's short, and Gnabry gets in. He can't regather though, and it's cleared down towards halfway.
Yeah, that's the danger ball slightly. If early on in the game, leaving it a little bit short, you've got to be really accurate with that sort of almost mid-pass, diagonal pass, to ensure that they're not on the front foot.
Bayern unbeaten in 20 home league games in the Champions League. Flicked around the corner down the left-hand side for Guerrero to chase. He's got good pace, but so does Johnston, who gets back in really well and knocks it out for a throw-in. But Bayern get on with things pretty quickly.
Yeah, and there's that relationship between obviously Kuhn and Johnston there. Johnston just caught out of position a little bit, maybe his attention to Gnabry, and then Guerrero getting himself forward higher up the pitch and getting in. Here they have.
Here come Bayern down the right hand side of the box. It's pulled back, edge of the 6-yard box, sliding challenge from Carter Vickers, and then McGregor forces it away, and it's pinged off a Bayern player. Squared Gnabry on the edge of the box. Now it's blocked by Celtic, and it's under pressure and eventually forced back to Schmeichel, who just puts the right boot through it. Bit frantic there from Celtic as Musiala was menacing in and around the penalty area. Yeah,
and this first 10-15 minutes is so vital that Celtic just don't give anything away, and they are pushed back a little bit. And of course you would expect Bayern to be the one that has got and here they're in again.
Big switch out to the right hand side. Michael Olise, edge of the 6-yard box, gets to the byline, dummies the cross. Kane's lurking, it's deflected, back post header, and it's bundled behind.
Wow.
And it's that goal kick, I think it is.
It is a goal kick. What a chance for Gnabry. It was brilliant play from Olise down the right hand side. Lovely ball from Kimmich initially, that diagonal ball isolating him 1v1. He took his time, but eventually got a ball to the back post. Gnabry coming in and really probably should have hit the target. What a fairly simple header. I think he just probably seen, it's come off. Actually, it was a good block from Johnson at the end, and eventually I think it maybe came off Gnabry, but initially when he got his header in, Johnson was there and it came off his thigh and back on to Gnabry to go for the goal kick, I think.
Yeah, Johnston did well, stood his ground, and it came off him and looked like it was going for a corner, but it's nicked off Gnabry, and now Celtic come down the left hand side, but Bayern back in, and they will take possession again, and Celtic are going to have to get used to this feeling as they did in Glasgow last week, where Bayern just dominating the ball as Goretzka and Kimmich, quality midfielders with Musiala playing just in front of them. Incredible to think as well that Thomas Tuchel, now the England manager of course, didn't think that Kimmich was a central midfielder, more a right back, where he's back in there under Vincent Kompany and back towards his best once again as Kim Min-jae steps out of defence, gives it to Guerrero, the left back.
Yeah, the thing about Kimmich in there, he's so comfortable on the ball, and that's why he gets away with it.
Bayern launch it in behind. Elise runs off the shoulder of Schlupp. He's controlled it, right hand side of the box. Jinks in field, curls across with the left foot, and it's over Harry Kane, who was on the edge of the 6-yard box. But it's another warning sign from Celtic because the flag stayed down there.
Yeah, they're hitting that diagonal, aren't they, out to Elise and trying to get, I think the ball's burst actually. Or is it? I don't know. There was something on it anyway. I think it's an icicle, could you say, on the ball. But from a point of view of hitting that diagonal, almost creating that 1v1 situation, and then he's so quick and dangerous as we've seen in that first leg.
This is good from Celtic though, as Engels strides forward and tries to play Maeda behind, but boy, Upamecano can shift as well, and they got back and matched Maeda stride for stride and nudged him off the ball.
Yeah, but it's good play from Celtic, trying to play down the side of Upamecano for Maeda's pace, but he's so strong physically also. He's got pace but physically strong that he was able then to shield Maeda away from the ball and get under control. But it was still a decent ball down the side of him.
Another player who's been doubted for a few seasons since joining from RB Leipzig, but seems to be flourishing under Kompany's tutelage. Not a bad central defender to learn from, of course. Dayot Upamecano is in possession now, goes back to Goretzka, and it's Kim forwards, and Bayern just knocking it about. It's brilliant pressure from McGregor, and then McGregor striding up to the box. Chance here for the Celtic cap to get the strike on goal, and he's put it over the top. What an opportunity. Brilliant tackle and pressure in midfield. He went all the way into the penalty area, but he's put it over the bar.
Really good pressing from him, getting out, taking the ball off Elise, and then driving forward. I thought he would have been caught, but he didn't. But for him, with that left peg that he has, you would expect him to play, hit the target, and it just came off the outside of his foot and sliced way over the crossbar. But really a brilliant chance, get it across the goalkeeper, make him have a save. But that's really encouraging from Celtic's perspective.
Yeah, 8 goals this season, Callum McGregor, including at the weekend a lovely one against Dundee United, and you just expect him to at least hit the target there on the left foot, maybe go across Manuel Neuer, as it's won by Jamal Musiala for Bayern on the halfway line. And now it's Kimmich, dribbles forwards, shifts it to Stanisic, the right back. Now it's Elise, right hand side of the box, pulls the cross back in the air. Gnabry touches it but can't take it under control, and Celtic clear towards Maeda. He's all alone up there. Upamecano is with him, waits for support and gives it to Hatate. Hatate on the halfway. Engels, now McGregor. Brilliant play initially it was from Callum McGregor to spot the opportunity to get right on top of the play and nick possession. Here is Johnston at the right back area for Celtic in his own half, slides it to McGregor, who's made room for himself with a clever run, takes it across the centre circle, and Bayern rather choosing not to press here and retreating into their own half, which was very much what they did against Leverkusen a lot of the time. Perhaps felt they didn't need to win the game, having gone into that title clash with an 8-point advantage. As Johnston chips it down the right hand side and Kuhn will chase. Kuhn putting pressure on Guerrero, but not enough pressure. He's able to go back to Neuer, who will not be rushed on the ball, even on his own 6-yard box, and he plays it forward. Musiala back to Kim. Celtic making it difficult, but Kimmich collects and rolls it to Dayot Upamecano. Defender looks up, fires one which bounces off the surface and finds the right hand side, and Olise goes outside. Now Celtic with Kane free on the right hand side, and he's cracked one towards the target, and then Johnston heads it away. I don't know if that came off the post or Schmeichel got a touch there.
Schmeichel got almost like a fist on it, but certainly he was trying to score there. There is no question. You know, he hit it with pace, but he was trying to catch out Schmeichel.
Yeah, it was more of a crossing position than a shooting one, but I suppose when you're Harry Kane, you'll try anything.
It's a big test for the Celtic back four, I've got to say. When Bayern have the ball, Celtic are pushing Hatate high up the pitch to help Maeda. The other midfielders are going to in behind them support, but they're leaving almost 4v4 high up the pitch, and that's then where Celtic, it's almost a man-for-man situation, and have got to be able to handle those four.
Nearly 10 minutes played. It's Bayern 0, Celtic 0 live on Sports Sound. At Bayern coming forward on their right hand side. It's Musiala, and then Celtic get back. Schlupp trying to put pressure on. Elise has to go backwards. Kind of loose cross, and it's flicked towards Kane, but it's too far in front of the striker, and Carter Vickers is able to mop up for Celtic. Now it's Trusty back to Schmeichel, controls in his 6-yard box, goes square to Johnston just outside the area, right hand side, and then he's played it forward nicely for Arne Engels. Backwards to Johnston. Celtic caught on the right hand side, and it's rolled across to Schmeichel, who calmly plays it across now to the left hand side, and Celtic moving the ball side to side, not able to progress forward as of yet, but that's nice from Hatate to Engels, and now he's able to turn and face.
Really good play, really good control play along the back. Obviously every player looks as if they're comfortable on the ball, there's no fear there, and they have to be really precision passing.
And that was a switch intended for Jeffrey Schlupp, but it's intercepted by Stanisic. And Musiala is looking for the short option. Kane is on the edge of the box. The pass is intended for Kane. Johnson gets back and heads towards his goalkeeper, who comes, but it won't reach, so Johnson has to go back, and under pressure from Kane, hooks it out for a throw-in on the near side. 11 played. Bayern Munich 0, Celtic 0, 2-1 to Bayern on aggregate.
Yeah, good start, I've got to say, apart from that one chance at the back post that Johnson blocked from Gnabry. I think Celtic have done very well. They've also had possession of the ball, which is encouraging.
Here's Kim, slides it to Serge Gnabry, who's recovered from a recent injury. Tremendously talented player. Bayern squad full of them. Wingers, Coman on the bench as well. Another Champions League winner, as Neuer knocks it to Upamecano on the edge of his own box. Upamecano takes it forward, not under too much pressure, but Hatate joins Maeda in squeezing, but Bayern able to work it to the right hand side. So far so good for Celtic in the Allianz Arena. 12 minutes gone, it's goalless as Maeda tries to pick that pass off, but Bayern just keep hold of it, and Upamecano has it again, and he finds Serge Gnabry left hand side, 10 yards into Celtic's half, but he goes back to Kim Min-jae, who gets a return pass and then goes all the way back to Neuer. Bayern not in any rush really, Pat Bonner.
No, they're not. They're obviously trying to get control of the game by keeping the ball. They're actually going backwards at times when I would expect them to go forward. That's the difference between Gnabry and Sani. When you give the ball to Sani, he's always on the front foot and trying to take you on and drifting across the pitch. Gnabry stays in his position, and he's been very conservative at the moment.
Bayern with the ball on the right hand side, no space to work with. They go back to the halfway line, and it's Stanisic who gives it to Neuer, who was filling in as a centre half there on the ball. Guerrero now with Kim, and Celtic doing a decent job of making sure Bayern have no easy way through them in the middle of the pitch. That's a long ball which is missed by Johnston.
Yeah, that's the one I'm saying, that, you know, if they pick their moments to go and press Neuer, he's under a little bit of pressure and he will kick the ball either up to the front men, or in that instance he's kicked it over the sideline, and that gives possession back to Celtic. So good play from Celtic and when to go and press.
Schmeichel to Carter Vickers. Now Johnston chips it up the right touchline, and couldn't control it, chested it out for a Bayern throw.
Yeah, the only thing I would say about Kuhn at times, and I've seen him do this a lot, coming straight down the line of the ball. Maybe if he has that first movement to go away, to create space for himself to get on the ball, then it becomes an easier pass laid into him, and that he can get possession.
Kim plays it into Musiala, such a wonderful dribbler, and he's taking a little run now into the centre circle, then slides the pass to the right hand side to Elise. Stanisic joins the attack, it's played towards him, gets the cross in, met by Austin Trusty to the corner of the box, and then Elise just keeps it in on the slide, far side. Bayern still alive. Kimmich, Elise, little flick with the studs backwards, and Bayern again in no hurry to get this into the box, trying to build pressure.
I think they're showing more respect to Celtic actually in this game than they maybe did in the first half, and in the first leg. They've really seen the Celtic can actually maybe hurt them on the counter-attack too, and that's why they're a little bit there again. The ball from Neuer played just into no man's land and giving away possession. So yeah, all going in the right direction at the moment for Celtic, without that obviously a big chance from McGregor.
Carter Vickers has it in his own box. Johnston, and Engels round the corner for Kuhn, who this time secures it, gives it back to Engels, but he has Musiala in front of him and goes back to the bright pink kitted Kasper Schmeichel. McGregor in his own box. Celtic comfortable taking chances as Bayern try and press. It's played long this time, but it's over Maeda, but it will run for Jota, and Jota has the ball. Dangerous for Celtic, and he's done brilliant to beat his man. Jota edge of the box, weaving instance to the back post. Nicholas Kuhn with a chance, cleared off the line. Neuer was beaten, but the defender wasn't, and it remains Bayern 0, Celtic 0. What a chance. Celtic still coming forward here. Engels slides it to Kuhn on the right hand side. What a chance it was. Hatate back to Engels, flags these down, slides across, back post. Maeda misses it as he slides in, couldn't connect. If he did, Celtic were 1-0 in front.
Oh my word, what a chances from Celtic. Two absolute sitters in a row. The first one, brilliant play from Jota on the left hand side to set up Kuhn. Brilliant, lovely little chip to the back post. And I think he was just caught in two minds. Do I hit it first time? Do I control it? And he did neither, and he ended up giving a simple little pass. Yes, he beat Neuer, and then the second chance from Engels across the 6-yard box, and he just evaded Maeda at the back post, and what a brilliant chance. I'm just looking at Kuhn's. He obviously, I think it was a
Guerrero on the line,
back on the line when it was brilliant play from Jota. Great vision of picking out Kuhn in the first place, but just go put your foot through it. I'm just saying, don't just try and beat Neuer, but bang it into the back of the net, and that's three brilliant chances, I've got to say, for Celtic in this first half.
Yeah, three fantastic chances, the best ones. Bayern only really with that Gnabry header, and Celtic, that's the chances they would have dreamed of. Kuhn, who was in the Bayern Academy at one point, played with Musiala. It was almost like he just thought if he could help it beyond Neuer, the job was done, and it's given away. Kuhn now slips into Maeda, edge of the box, he's chipped it, and it's wide of the post from Tyson Maeda. But Bayern Munich are rattled here.
They are. I just wonder whether he was offside when he took that, got the return pass. It was a terrible crossfield ball from Upamecano. I still think that he maybe had a chance to take it on in that situation. You had to be really, really deft with your chip to beat Manuel Neuer, even though that you had the opportunity. That's four chances that Celtic have had. I hope they don't rue these chances, and that's kind of the story of the game so far. But so far they're doing really well, and the way that they're controlling almost Bayern, forcing them backwards, and I'm sure the Bayern crowd, fans inside this stadium, will not be happy, and has given real encouragement to the Celtic fans.
Let's get the thoughts of James McFadden on that Celtic start. Those chances, James.
Outstanding play. You know, they've been really patient, not in a rush to get it forward, and I doubt they'll get many better chances than what they've just served up, and you're expecting at least one of them to hit the back of the net. I agree with Pat. I think when it comes to Kuhn, put your laces through it, maybe try and go through the legs of the goalkeeper, but you have to credit Guerrero for getting back on the line. But Celtic having a bit of pressure now, and the one where Maeda gets the opportunity, it's because Upamecano's terrified to go back to Neuer, because he knows the pressure that Maeda can put on him. It's good play. Celtic have really settled into the game. They look confident, but Bayern are still dangerous. They've still got top players. You just feel that, as Pat says, they're going to rue those missed opportunities. But I have to say, really impressive performance so far by Celtic.
And you can see them just growing in confidence. Celtic now having periods on the ball here. Engels turning towards his own goal. He's done well to twist and turn away from Goretzka. Engels to McGregor. And Celtic, the better team here in the last few minutes. Will they have to rue those chances? Good chances as well. And here they come again down the left-hand side. Jota. Bayern don't know what to do at the moment as Hatate flicks it to the corner of the box. Sloop sends it forward, it's deflected and bouncing about, and McGregor has it in the final thirds. Gets it back, the Celtic captain looks up and slides it for Hatate, who returns it first time. And now it's with Carter Vickers just at the edge of the centre circle. Kuhn on the right hand side, he's one-on-one with Guerrero, who made that block from his earlier chance. Kuhn dances inside, gets it to McGregor to Hatate, edge of the area, little back heel flick, and he's got himself into trouble and he's dispossessed, and now Bayern will counter. And this is the moment Celtic have to watch as Olise throws in a couple of step overs, but he's forced back really well by Kuhn, and Bayern will start again and recycle.
Yeah, they just don't get carried away now. They've created the chances basically on the counter-attack, and now just get back into your shape, into your and just keep doing what you were doing defensively, forcing Bayern to come, almost go backwards, and once they go backwards, then the press can come.
Here is Olise on the right flank, tries to hold off Schlupp as he weaves in field. It's Goretzka, 35 yards out, middle of the pitch. Now Guerrero and Kim Min-jae, but that even opening for Celtic just gives them so much encouragement. They've got defending to do here. Cross is blocked by Schlupp and out for a throw-in, and it just gives you that sense that there's nothing to fear here.
No, and I think the two wingers, obviously Kuhn and Jota, have got the beating of the full-backs if they get the ball in the right position higher up the pitch. Obviously they'll push forward when Bayern Munich have got the ball, and that's maybe the slight danger to become a 2v1 in those wide areas.
Yeah, well, Stanisic is coming back from an injury as well, one that could be certainly targeted, and Jota had some joy moments ago, but Bayern just trying to calm things down. It's into midfield and back to Upamecano, and now Kimmich slides it forward for Musiala. Kane, edge of the box, right-footed shot, and Kasper Schmeichel has to make the save, and then it's headed behind for a corner by Alistair Johnston.
Yeah, that's how dangerous they are, and there was a deflection when Kane got himself down the side of Trusty, or in behind Trusty, a little run. I thought he was offside actually when you look at it from this angle, but then he takes the shot and he will always go for a goal. That's the nature of but he just took a deflection, took it up into the air, and Kasper Schmeichel had to push it away with his right hand.
Yeah, it's a good reaction from the Celtic goalkeeper.
Well, this is a set piece now. This is where they were dangerous last week. They've got the height, and the Goretzka in midfield, the two centre backs, Kane. So they've got to be clued in here now. That's from Celtic's perspective. They're maybe short one player. Ida's not playing tonight, so the rest of them will have to do their job. Kim's obviously come into added height, I think, in the team. Very physical player.
22, nearly 23 on the clock. Bayern Munich 0, Celtic 0. Bayern lead 2-1 on aggregate in this playoff tie in the Champions League. Live on Sports Sound. Bayern Munich corner. Celtic with 4 really good chances, none taken. Bayern now with a corner kick. The referee is taking an awful long time to make sure he's happy with everything, with having a word with Kim Min-jae and Austin Trusty, and it's going to be Joshua Kimmich to deliver with a right boot. Curls it into the 6-yard box, a near post, headed away by Celtic. Jota can't gather, and Bayern have it. Olise sends it into the back post with the back foot, touch from Kane, and it's gone behind for another corner.
You can't leave him. That's the second phase. Obviously the ball, they set up from the corner exactly like they did at Celtic Park, but Kane away back now. They dealt with the first one because the ball was played into that near post, but then after, I don't think it was Kane, I think it was somebody else, Guerrero around the back, but again then you've got to pick up when that ball comes out. Everybody then has got a job to do, whether you're out of position or not. You've got to pick up players. No free headers. They were lucky, got away with it at the back post, deflection for a corner.
Suggestion Upamecano was offside there when he did it initially. The corner will be taken from the other side by Kimmich. It's short to Olise, and then he goes back, and then it's a wild swipe behind and into the stands, and Celtic will take that all day long. Serge Gnabry with a really poor cross.
Yeah, I'm delighted that he actually maybe took it short, but Celtic just got to be clued in, whether it's the first time ball into the box from the corner or off the second phase. Oh, what I'm just looking at Kuhn's chance again. Obviously Guerrero doing brilliantly to get back on on the line. And then the second one again, oh my God, that was so close to Maeda getting into the back post. But Celtic showing what they can actually do in that sort of forward line.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see that one as well, because Ingles made a really good run for the Maeda chance before he put the cross in. Such a good run. He was in so much space that I did think he might be offside, so if that had gone in, it would have been interesting to see whether that would have been overturned or not, but we'll never know, because the ball just evaded the sliding Daizen Maeda as Upamecano slides the right-footed pass out to the right touchline. It's dropped over the top for Harry Kane to chase, but Carter Vickers is there, heads it to the edge of the area, and Jota comes all the way back to pick up the scraps and hits it off Stanisic, but it doesn't go out. Elise takes it on the touchline. Bayern 0, Celtic 0. The Bundesliga leaders leading 2-1 on aggregate, as Upamecano runs laterally in the centre circle. It's Musiala and Goretzka, and Bayern, I have to say, compared to the sort of Hansi Flick Bayern that won this competition in 2020, it's a lot slower in terms of how they play.
Slow. And that was the key element from what we studied them during that Champions League one, and it was the tempo and intensity to play, what was incredible, and the high line. Yeah, and they've gone off that a little bit, to be honest. Maybe it's because of the players. Maybe obviously Harry Kane coming into it, who doesn't play, with a high intensity from front, doesn't have the trigger, but gets involved in other ways in the game.
Here's Kimmich, halfway line, dinks it forwards. It's a good ball. Trusty's come across and he's won the challenge really well. Now he's trying to shepherd it out, and he's decided it may have come off him last, so he doesn't take the risk. Half clears it. There's Musiala, Goretzka. Half thinks about the shot and then takes a couple of touches and gives it to Guerrero, left hand side of the area. Now back to Leon Goretzka and Kimmich. Kimmich turns, square for Kim. Now it's Musiala. Lovely pass. Guerrero, left hand side of the box, looks up. Really good sliding challenge from Johnston, but it's another Bayern Munich corner. It remains goalless. Yeah, he's just given out to Kuhn a little bit, because he's been dragged inside because he has to deal with it. And then Kuhn has got to balance off and see where Guerrero is, because he can't do both jobs of picking up the winger and the fullback. So Kuhn's got to get his body open up, knowing where he is and getting in. So Johnson doing really well to get the block in, but an inner set piece corner for Bayern Munich. And it will be Joshua Kimmich, arm raised, right footed, curls it into the 6-yard box. Schmeichel punches it clear, and Gnabry's back and wins it off Kuhn. Good challenge from Schlupp, who's does really well to just cling to the ball there under pressure. Goes back to Johnson, then Schmeichel, who clips it just to the left hand side of his own penalty area, and then it's scooped up in there for Hatate. Celtic done really well to play out of pressure there. Hatate's looking for a pass. He thinks he's found one in Engels, but it's just evades the Belgian. And now Bayern can spring into action. Kane on the edge of the box. It's bobbling about rather horribly for the Celtic players, and it comes off Hatate, and McGregor has it in the box and he plays it away. Maeda holds it up well. Schlupp at left back. Hatate very frantic. Celtic keeping their composure. McGregor back to Trusty in his own box. Square for Carter Vickers. Johnston is there for the pass, and he's able to turn, and Celtic again have worked it really well. And now it's pinged forward by Johnston looking for Maeda. Loses out to Upamecano. Now it's Kim. Holds off Kuhn and then gives it to Goretzka, who shuffles forward into Celtic territory. Now it's with Musiala, and he's one-on-one with Johnston, and this is dangerous now for Celtic. Musiala, corner of the box, comes in, slides the pass looking for Guerrero, but it doesn't find him, and Johnston is able to give it to Engels. And now for Maeda, drops into his own half, deep into his own half. McGregor, Schlupp. Celtic so convincing on the ball at the moment in terms of just keeping Bayern press at bay. As Jota has it on the left hand side, he's dropped back though, and now it's with McGregor back into their own half.
Really good play from Celtic, I've got to say. Everybody trusting each other and getting the passes, not panicking and playing out really well, and they know that they can play around some of the Bayern players, which is really interesting for me. And they're coming up the pitch and then they'll keep it. Schmeichel is a key component of this. They can go back to him at any time.
The Allianz Arena is rather subdued, apart from the ultras who never stop making a racket. And Celtic have had the better chances in this game, really good ones, and the frustration for Brendan Rodgers. You could see him after the Maeda one, kind of howl in anguish. He just thinks if you just take at least one of them, level the tie on the night, and then who knows. But as it stands, it's 0-0 on the night, 2-1 to Bayern on aggregate. And now Bayern come forward. Gnabry running at Carter Vickers, edge of the box, gets onto his right foot, gets a strike away, blocked by Schlupp and booted away by the Celtic left back.
Yeah, just Gnabry coming into that sort of inside left channel, into the pocket of space, finding the space, and they picked him out, and then he was able to open up and get forward and almost create a chance for himself with good running.
Yeah, it's the first we've really seen of him in a really menacing fashion since that header at the back post that he might have done better with in the opening 3 minutes.
Yeah, it's that space. It's difficult for Johnson to go in there, especially if the fullback is pushed forward on the left-hand side, which he has, Guerrero, and he can't go in, so that means then there's nobody picking up Gnabry. He's in the same space again, picks the ball up now.
Here he is, centre circle. Gives it to Guerrero, but it's behind him. Musiala's profited though anyway, and Musiala with a low strike. It's tame for Schmeichel, who didn't gather it cleanly but just knocked it and was able to go and pick it up at the second attempt.
Yeah, you just see Brendan Rodgers. Oh, there's the first pass to Celtic have maybe given away at the edge of their box. They can't afford to do that. It only takes one time.
Gnabry sends a curling ball in, but it's too far beyond Michael Elise, who liked the delivery, but it spins into the arms of Schmeichel, and it remains Bayern Munich 0, Celtic 0, 2-1 to the German Giants on aggregate, and it's given away again by Celtic. A couple of sloppy moments, and it's now Elise inside the pitch, weaving his way across the surface. Now it's Guerrero, left-hand side of the box for the left back. Goes back to Elise, who's come across more to this left-hand side. Gives it back to Guerrero, and the two combine again. This time Musiala gets involved. Back to goal though, and he's forced away by McGregor. Gets the return. He's such a good dribbler. Musiala can get out of such a tight space, and he looked like he was away there, but for a well-timed sliding challenge from Arne Engels. Yeah,
good play. Just keep his head down on the ball if you can. I know he's got really brilliant feet, but don't allow any space, and that takes every single player doing a really good defensive job. If he goes past one, then the next one's got to get him.
Yeah, Musiala and Florian Wirtz, the two wonder kids, shining lights of German football. Safe to say Wirtz had the better of the duel between the pair at the weekend, shining despite the goalless draw.
Yeah, come on, Nicholas Kuhn, you've got to be a little bit sharper, and that. Don't give the ball away. Get it when you get it. Make sure you know what you're going to do with the ball before it comes to you.
Here's Upamecano. Bayern 0, Celtic 0 live on Sportsound. Champions League playoff action. Still just one goal in it in terms of the tie on aggregate after Bayern's 2-1 win at Celtic Park last week. Here's Guerrero back to Joshua Kimmich, and now Guerrero left-footed back to Kim. Bayern, there's been a few hairy moments in the Celtic box, but by and large been fairly comfortable. Kane had that shot saved from an awkward angle, but Celtic will be pleased with how they've defended largely, and they've won it in midfield. McGregor to Hatate, back to McGregor, first time Engels on the turn. Wonderful football from Celtic as Engels looks for Maeda, and he's found Maeda on the chest. He's into the box, but he's going wide of the target. Flag stays down, pulls it back to Jota, scoops it for Hatate, and Upamecano read that and was able to pick it off, but then he's a poor pass forward, and you can hear the groans of frustration at Bayern's slackness.
Yeah, we're getting into that period again, you know, of nearly 35 minutes out of the last 10 minutes of this half, when it's so vital that Celtic continue doing what they've been doing really well. They had a couple of sloppy moments there just minutes ago, and they're back in control again.
Here's Trusty in Bayern territory. Now Hatate. This has so far been two evenly matched teams going at it. Bayern have had the lion's share possession, but Celtic have created the better opportunities. Kuhn with one, cleared from in front of the target as it was heading in by Guerrero.
It's a great run from Engels there down the side of Kim, and just when the ball comes to Kuhn, his first touch is backwards. Just if he opened up, I think he had space to open up to and maybe play that pass.
Yeah, wonderful player Nicholas Kuhn showed it this season. Those 2 goals against Leipzig as well, but he hasn't been as productive in 2025 so far, and maybe just struggling for a wee bit of confidence. That's all relative to the way he was going in the first half of the season. Certainly could do no wrong as Upamecano arrows one with the right boot, looking for Olise, and it's McGregor, and that goes for a Bayern throw. It's a bit loose, and Bayern get on with things quickly. We're about to hit the 35 minutes on the clock at the Allianz Arena, and it is Bayern 0, Celtic 0. Forward for Olise, first time pass is poor, and Schlupp robs him and then goes down under a challenge. He gets a free kick just short of the centre circle, which Celtic will enjoy very much.
It just settles the game down a little bit, gives possession back to them, which is important at this stage. Yeah, he just nudged it.
Schlupp's done well.
He's done great. He's done great. For a player who's just come into the club, settled in quite well into the way that Brendan Rodgers wants to play. But he's had him before, he knew what he was coming to with Brendan Rodgers.
Yeah, experienced Premier League player, albeit not getting a huge amount of game time before the move, clearly, at Palace, but he's been a good servant there on loan in January as we hit towards half-time. And this was the crucial point in the game, really, for Celtic in the first leg. They conceded right before half-time and just after for Bayern's 2 goals, but they've won it here in the Bayern half. Kuhn jinking forward, runs into traffic, and Bayern turning over. Gnabry for Kimmich, and now Guerrero chips up in the air for Musiala, controls it in a tight space away from one, and Engels is ready to pounce, but there was a pull from Cameron Carter-Vickers, according to Benoit Bastien, the French referee. It remains Bayern 0, Celtic 0. McGregor, Kuhn, Maeda with chances for Celtic in this first half.
Yeah, well, listen, they're in this game. That's what I've got to say. And they've shown that they can create. Don't give anything silly away now that they end up then almost getting knocked out of this tie. If you get it into the second half and you're still in a situation where it's 2-1, Celtic will make another 1 or 2 really good chances. Then it's about being clinical.
Here come Bayern though, and it's with Olise, corner of the box, right hand side, he's into the area, pulls it back, then it's shuffled onto the left foot, and the strike from Kimmich wide of Schmeichel's post. The goalkeeper didn't have to move, and Kimmich knows he probably should have done better there.
Yeah, he should have hit the target. It was lined up for him. Again, Celtic just not capable of diving into attack it because it's inside the box, just trying to hold up. Obviously Trusty goes to the ground, and just when it comes back to Kimmich, he almost tried to pass it into the back of the net and just got his angles all wrong. Celtic
trying to play out Schlupp. Yeah, Kimmich just trying to guide it into the bottom corner, and it was wide of the post. Schmeichel was able to watch it go by him, and it's given away as Kuhn was looking to control it, nipped off his toes unaware, and here's Gnabry moving across the field towards the right hand side. Stanisic slides it forward into the box. Here's Musiala, faces the target, tight angle, cross, and Carter-Vickers has to clear it behind for a Bayern corner.
Yeah, that's that same ball. Johnson gets it out into the right back position, and he's looking to be able to pass a ball into Kuhn, and he's coming straight down the line, and you've got to be really accurate. Yes, maybe James will talk about it when we come back to him in relation to that, but certainly they're giving the ball away too easily down into that area.
And the Bayern fans frustrated at that Kimmich missed chance, but the international midfielder has a chance to deliver from this corner, far side, right footed, it's over one, and then Upamecano went up, but Celtic managed to clear, and Olise goes back to Stanisic, who arrows one with the right boot through the air out to the far side, and it's a driving run, cross blocked by McGregor, who stuck to his task well. Yeah, good play. He's up against Kimmich, and he did really well. Just hold your ground, stand up, don't dive in, and just get your timing right, and he got a good block in, and has forced Bayern Munich to take the throw in and go all the way back to Kim. 39 minutes played, Bayern 0, Celtic 0, 2-1 to Bayern on aggregate. And that's a poor one from Neuer, which will go out. No, it's been kept in by Guerrero. Fantastic from the fullback into Kane, who drops in as he loves to do, and then Musiala looking to squeeze one out to Elise, which he does. Elise, midway through the Celtic half, finds Musiala, who's run forward, and his pass is deflected off a Celtic boot and spins through to Kasper Schmeichel.
Yeah, they're definitely not got the same sort of kind of intensity up front without Sane or Koeman for that matter.
Maeda tries a little clever flick and it hits off Upamecano. He battles well, Maeda, but illegally, according to the referee, fouled Gnabry. And Tyson Maeda selected as a central striker this evening. His 22 goals to his name, his best campaign in the Celtic jersey, and there's still a good chunk of the season to go. What a chance that was for him, sliding in at the back post for Engels' delivery. As Bayern move forwards, Elise, right hand touchline. And let's get the thoughts of James McFadden.
Yeah, it's been a strong performance, I have to say, from Celtic. I think they've stood up really well to the test of Bayern. Look, they're going to get in behind, they're going to get opportunities, but I think overall they've defended them well. And going on to Pat's point about Nicholas Kuhn, we see it so many times where Johnston's only passes into Kuhn's feet. He has to be more alert to it, he has to be better set when it comes in, because he sometimes invites the pressure by not being able to keep a hold of the ball. But you know, apart from that, I think it's been a really strong, confident display from Celtic. And I think, you know, for Brendan Rodgers, if they can get into half time at 0-0 or even potentially nick a goal, then it'd be a dream first half.
Yeah, thanks, James. So far, so good for Celtic in terms of the scoreline. Still in this tie. The one blemish is just the lack of efficiency in front of goal, but they'll be so encouraged by what they've given in this first half, and we have about 3.5 minutes left of it to play, plus whatever stoppage time may be added. As Trusty glides forwards, gives the pass to the left hand side and gets it back. McGregor's offering himself, but eventually gets it, and then he's found Johnston tucking in from the right hand side, and now it's Kuhn on the right touchline. Kuhn up against Guerrero. He's going to take him down the outside initially, Kuhn. Slowly, and has Johnston on the overlap. Cross chipped in, but it's straight to Neuer, who gathers between the gloves, and it's Bayern 0, Celtic 0. 2-1 to Bayern on the night.
Just if he got his head up there and maybe hit that cross a little bit deeper to the way to the back post. Hatate was all on his own in a great position. But this is listen, this is critical now. 3 minutes, maybe 4 minutes to half time. I don't think there's been any real stoppages, so let's get in, let's consolidate what you have achieved in that first half, and the pressure will come on the home team.
Yeah, certainly, I'm sure home crowds not entirely happy with what they've seen as Kimmich goes back into his own box. Looked as if in a tight spot there, dropped the shoulder and managed to turn, and they've played their way out pretty well. And says that they've given it away. Engels now finds Hatate. It's behind Maeda, the pass in the box. A little half chance there for Celtic to fashion an opening, but it was gone as quick as it arrived. Bayern, as we've seen, they are capable of slackness in these positions as they try and play out, although this time they slide it through a little gap and immediately they're on the front foot. This is what they're capable of in the other ascents when they get it right, as Elise drops his shoulder, comes in on the left foot. McGregor closes down the space, gets a foot in and forces him back. Good aggression from the Celtic captain. Now it's Gnabry, plays it to the left hand side. Guerrero's got room to cross if he chooses to, but he doesn't. Goes back to Gnabry in a central position. Square for Upamecano for Elise, who's a lot of the time very narrow at the moment for Bayern, and Upamecano curls one down the right touchline. Stanisic is there, back to Elise, and now it's Kimmich. Celtic with everyone back. Elise, right touchline. There's no urgency to get it into the penalty area from Bayern. They've got numbers forward, but
it's almost as if they're managing the game out. They know that they'll maybe get one chance to kill the game off, and that's where Celtic.
Here is a chance. It's played. Harry Kane on the right foot, and he's cracked off the bar. Oh, what a chance for the Bayern Munich striker, and it's one. You feel with his quality, you'd expect him to take, but the danger's not over for Celtic. Down the right hand side, cross blocked. Now McGregor spins in his own area, given away. Elise controls. Elise curls one with the left foot, well off target. And with 30 seconds left at the end of this first half, it's Bayern 0, Celtic 0.
Yeah, listen, the great thing about Harry Kane here, he stands still. The ball's played down the right hand side. He can almost stand still and creates the space for himself. And when he strikes it, you just were waiting to see that net bulge. He's just not quite got over it, but still guided it away from Schmeichel and comes off the crossbar. And Celtic off the hook in this one.
Yeah, and that was Callum McGregor just giving the ball away as well there. The scoreline remains 0-0, 2-1 to Bayern on aggregate, and there is the referee's half-time whistle. Well, so far so good for Celtic in a sense, but it also is a case of what might have been given the chances they created in the opening 8-10 minutes. Callum McGregor went through one possession, got into the box, didn't hit the target. Kuhn had one that he squeezed past Neuer, but Carrero was on the line to clear, and then Engels put one to the back post, and a sliding Dyson Maeda was inches from connecting and put it in the bottom corner, but it did not connect with the boot of the Japanese striker, and that chance was gone. Bayern have had their chances, most notably just a minute ago when Harry Kane cracked one off the bar from around the penalty spot, but neither side has managed to find the back of the net in this first half. Still, it is advantage Bayern Munich in this knockout round tie. Half-time in the Allianz Arena. It is Bayern Munich 0, Celtic 0, 2-1 to Bayern on aggregate.
Bayern Munich versus Celtic.
Chance and it's in, goal!
Celtic in the Champions League.
What a strike!
This is Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland, where Scottish football lives.
You're listening to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland. We gave this one the big build-up tonight, and certainly Celtic have delivered a very strong first-half performance from Brendan Rodgers' side. 4 glorious chances to open the scoring, but they were served their warning right on the stroke of half-time when Harry Kane cracked one off the bar. Tom English is alongside me in the studio with Pat Bonner and our match commentator Thomas Duncan. James McFadden is out at the stadium in Munich. James, Brendan Rodgers has got to be delighted with that performance, but also a bit disappointed they didn't convert one of these glorious chances.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he'll be absolutely delighted because Celtic have been excellent. You know, defensively, they've stood up to it. They've been brave on the ball. They've caused problems for Bayern, and you can see, you know, in the little spell they had, that it did, you know, affect Bayern Munich. I think overall he'll just be delighted. I don't think there'll be any kind of criticism or disappointment that they haven't been able to take their chances. I think it'll be a case of keep going, keep believing, and you will be able to get that goal. It's been such a good performance for Celtic. Really enjoyed it. They've had to suffer at times without the ball, but they've dealt with that. They've looked confident, they've looked comfortable. The players in there will be delighted with their work so far, but Bayern are dangerous. You can see the players are real quality, so they'll be wary that, you know, there'll be a reaction from Bayern in the second half, but you can't ask for any more from Celtic.
No, it's been fantastic, Tom. 7 minutes. McGregor through in the left-hand side, couldn't get his efforts on target. 16 minutes. This was a chance. Nicholas Kuhn effort cleared off the line. He didn't really get through the ball. Just seconds later, Engels cross made at the back post, inches away. Any contact, certain goal. 18 minutes. Maeda almost capitalised on a mistake from the Bayern defence. He just chipped his shot wide. Very, very good from Celtic.
Excellent from Celtic. I mean, it's a really, really mature, confident performance from Celtic. They're not in any way fazed by their arena or their opponents. They've created way more chances than Bayern have. Are Bayern scaring them with their speed and their movement and their width? No, they're not. Are they scaring them with their options that they have when they break on Celtic? No, because everything seems to break down. Apart from that last chance with Kane off the crossbar, everything has been slow and ponderous from Bayern. And maybe they're comfortable with that. Maybe they think, right, we will get a chance and we will score, and that'll be 3-1 aggregate and tie done. But they're playing a dangerous game here, and Celtic are well up for it. They're up for it in terms of their edge, but up for it in terms of their ability as well. just that little bit missing in attack. But I think they've been really, really excellent. Kane, you can see the best of Kane there at the end. Just peels off, finds a bit of space, hits the crossbar. He's done nothing in this half. His movement is non-existent. Elise is looking up, trying to find him, and he's just static. The same for Canabry. They're just not finding anything, and I think that's why Bayern's attacks have been just that kind of pedestrian types of attacks, unthreatening. But with Kane, you always have a chance, even though he's kind of stiff as a goalpost up there.
Yeah, he's not shown much, but I guess he did show his quality right on the stroke of half-time. Elsewhere in Europe, the 5:30 kick-off, AC Milan 1, Feyenoord 1. Feyenoord going through there on aggregate. Half-time score, this is an incredible scoreline. Atalanta 0, Club Bruges 3. Now, Celtic, of course, played both these sides. Atalanta, a top team, but I also thought Club Bruges were very, very good.
Bruges surprised me how good they were.
Yeah, what a score they've got so far.
That turned out to be a really good point. Everyone's thought about the point that Celtic got in Atalanta, which was a very good point. I think the Bruges point, the way things are transpiring, was even better.
Absolutely. Bayern 0, Celtic 0, of course. Benfica 1, Monaco 1. There is one game in the Scottish Championship this evening. Morton 1, Hamilton Accies 0. Tommy Adeloy with a goal on 28 minutes. What's the atmosphere like in there, James? What's been the reaction from the majority of the home fans?
I think they're unhappy, Kenny, because the team they've shown flashes of threatening to add a bit of speed to the play, but it's been very pedestrian, very laboured their build-up, very patient, and I think that's what the manager's asking them to do, to build and gain your territory and camp Celtic round about the edge of the box and then find that bit of quality, but they haven't been able to do it too often. And I think there's a sense of frustration around here. I think that there'll be a bit of surprise as well that it's 0-0, that Celtic have come in. Celtic are knocking the ball about in their own box. They're happy to take the ball. It's going back to Schmeichel, it's out to Trusty, out to Schlupp, and they're chipping the ball over Bayern players, and they're not overawed by this stadium and this team that they're playing against. And I think the fans around here can see that. They can see that this is a good, confident Celtic side, and they'll be looking for more from their team. They're not doing enough with the ball. They're not doing enough without the ball to put Celtic under pressure and win the ball back. So I think that there'll be a bit of shock and a bit of disappointment with what they're seeing from their team tonight.
I think Rodgers asked yesterday. He asked his team to be clever, bright, and brave, and to play without fear. They're all of those things. Mm-hmm. I mean, they are really true to their manager's word here, and I'm really like Bayern. There's a lack of explosiveness in this team. I mean, there shouldn't be, because they've got wide players. They've got a lot of everything they need. But Celtic, if you didn't know the history of both these clubs and the financial disparities and all the rest of it, you'd think that this was a top of the table Bundesliga match, because Celtic are going toe to toe with them, and there is not an ounce of fear in this Celtic team. It might not be good enough. We might end up, later on in the night, ruining these chances that we're watching again here. But so far, 45 minutes, that is a really stellar Celtic first half.
Yeah, and the thing is, you're looking for a performance, what an end result. The performance is there, just the end result is a bit that's slightly missing. And that's, Celtic are competing at a very, very high level here in the Champions League. And I agree with Tom. Bayern Munich don't look at. As I said, I watched them at the weekend, and I thought this is very similar to what I watched at the weekend against Leverkusen. They miss the likes of the pieces, and there is no question about that. He was sensational, I thought, at Celtic Park, and I'm surprised. He may, and he probably will, come off the bench. Koeman will probably come off the bench. That creates a different dynamic for Celtic to deal with that, especially if Celtic go and commit to try to get that second goal, which they will have to do at some stage, and if they don't get it through their normal play, and that then just creates openings for them to go and kill it off. But listen, it's been terrific, I've got to say.
Slight concerns in that Bayern, right from the get-go, they were targeting Schlupp with these diagonals, and sometimes he's been outnumbered, Sometimes on one occasion he dived in and they got in behind him. So that'd be a little bit worried there that they will get a bit of joy by going in and outnumbering him. McGregor has come back a number of times and helped out, and that's worked out well. But overall, this is a tremendous first half. So I think, yeah, you'd want them to be ahead. That would make it really, really interesting if they took the lead, which they should probably have, actually.
Yeah, we're just watching, as you said, Tom, the replays of the chances. He didn't get right through it. Almost, when I see the connection, it was almost his ankle, I think, that hit the ball. It wasn't a powerful strike. What a chance. And then Maeda was so close at the back post. As I said, any touch, that is a certain goal. So for Brendan Rodgers, James, as you were saying, very positive messages inside the dressing room right now. Nothing for him to change.
No, absolutely nothing. And it's not to say that, oh, well done, and give yourself a pat on the back. It's well done, keep going, keep doing what you're doing. The chances will come, as we've seen. Look, I said it before the game, at times Celtic are going to have to suffer without the ball, and suffering means having to go and cover, as you said, Sloop getting done down the side, having to go and, Cal McGregor has to get over and help out, Jota has to get back and help out. You need to put an absolute shift in. But what they've done really well is when they've got on the ball, they've used it. They've not just forced it forward. Some of their play has been excellent. I think Cal McGregor and Arne Engels in particular has been sensational. Arne Engels hasn't put a foot wrong. He's been brave on the ball. His use of the ball's been excellent. He's shown great energy, and that's the player that Celtic bought in the summer to play in games like this. I think he's been excellent. I think every one of them, they've played really well. And you mentioned them targeting Sloop. I don't think it's so much that they're targeting Sloop. I think they're trying to get their best player on the ball, and Elise. And so far,
yeah,
you have to concede that when the ball comes over there, he's going to get onto it. So how do you stop him? He wants to come in on his left foot, and he wants to commit players. Celtic have done really well at times to force him back the way, and for him to pop the ball off to someone else. Look, there's still top players all over the place, but I think Elise, for me, is the best player. He's the one that can produce something out of nothing, and they're trying to get him involved as much as they can. And Celtic defensively have been outstanding. You can't say anything else.
Yeah, James, listen, we talked about Kuhn and coming to the ball when Johnson has it. What would you see it there? I feel that he has to have a little bit more movement before he comes straight down the line, just to create a little bit of more space for himself, so that he can then open up, because he has the beating of the full back if he gets forward. And there's times when he's receiving the ball more from a midfield position inside, and that gives him the chance then in a 1v1 situation. But when he's receiving that ball from Johnson, it's almost creating a problem that he comes straight down the line with the full back, and it's almost then he can't do anything except lose possession.
I think it looks like a lot of the time, and he isn't, but it looks like he's almost surprised that the ball's coming to him. But it's the only option that Johnson has. Other than that, is to go in behind and more hopeful. I think that you're right. He has to have a bit of movement. For me, he has to either make contact first of all with the defender before he controls it, so he knows exactly where he is, or take a touch off the line and move it earlier. But he takes a first touch straight back the way where it's come from, allowing Guerrero to go and put pressure on him, and then he'll then take maybe another touch back, which is inviting the press from Bayern Munich. We've seen it before in the games. I think it was a Bruges game. The goal comes from Kuhn coming short and not maybe knowing what he was doing. But I think that's something, he does have to get back. Can he pop it off inside to Engels and support? Can he flick it round the corner?
It's a dangerous pass then back in from that position into midfield.
It is dangerous, but if you get your body position right, you can pop it off. It's maybe when he comes and his shoulders are flat. He's not come on side on where he can get his right arm out, feel the defender, but he then takes control of the situation. If he comes flat and his shoulders are flat and he's facing Alistair Johnston, there's really only one way he can go, and that does become a risky pass. But if he comes and he gets side on as he controls it, he's got better control of the situation, because he can come inside, or he can fake to come inside and then go outside. He can take a touch it's still going back the way, but back inside where he can then flick it round the corner with more control. But he's coming on, he's coming square on, which is causing him a problem.
Is there another opportunity for Johnson maybe to play up beyond Kuhn, if the fullback goes tight with Kuhn, for maybe Maeda to run the channel a little bit and get higher up the pitch from that perspective?
Yeah, absolutely. But sometimes it's from, deeper than the 18-yard line, so it's a risky pass in itself, but it's probably
the less
best
risk
option. Yeah, the less risk is to play it into the feet of Kuhn, who you would expect can deal with that, and he can deal with it. We're not criticising him here. It's just if he can get his body position right, then it can be a positive pass and touch from him, and he can get himself in a position where it might be a pass inside, a little 1-2, or a pass into the midfielder that he can then play that pass up the side for Maeda, it can go into his feet. It's just a little thing that you've clearly noticed it. I think we've noticed it in these games, because at times as a wide man, of course you want to see the eye-catching stuff, you want to see people, players taking players on and doing the exciting stuff, but sometimes it's about securing the ball, getting your team up the pitch, relieving the pressure. Look, if you win a throw-in, you're taking a throw-in round about the halfway line,
or a free kick,
if you get a foul,
you're
taking the pressure off and your team can squeeze the game. So there's other parts to being a wide man that aren't the eye-catching things, but they're so effective and so helpful to the team.
It's interesting, Pat James was highlighting the first half performance of Arne Engels, and we had a Celtic fan on last week on his way to the game, and he was saying he's coming for a fair bit of stick this season, which he felt was unfair. He's a young player, he's on a big stage tonight, and he's performing very, very well.
Yeah, listen, we've said it so many times about Engels. He's got qualities, but you're a young man coming into that environment, away from home, all of those things. There's going to be a dip in form. That's when you have to just sort of almost give him the confidence. You can't give him stick just because he's had a bad game or so on. He's got the qualities he's now showing, and that's maybe again down to himself, but also down to Brendan Rodgers and the staff just building his confidence up. So a young man has got to learn to put all of that negative stuff that's wrapped around him in games out of the way to get on with his development, and that's not easy for young players.
But the criticism, such as it was garbage anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, just people are in such a rush to judge players. Oh, he's 11 million. He should be shooting the lights out straight away. He's a human being. He was clearly a classy player when he arrived first. He's now developing and settling and getting better and better. He's going to be a wonderful player for Celtic. Already is, actually.
Yeah, he absolutely is, and he's performing very, very well. Celtic will need to be their best again in this second half. Do you know what? We could be witnessing an incredible occasion here tonight. They're still very much in this game. The European nights come so big. Yeah, the bench has been utilised by Vincent Kompany. Let's get the details on that from a match commentator, Thomas Duncan. He's alongside Pat Bonner. Second half commentary, Bayern Munich against Celtic in the Champions League.
Yeah, Bayern Munich are making a change, and we saw Kingsley Coman warming up and getting his instructions on the bench all throughout that half-time interval, so there was no shock that he was coming on. A surprise perhaps is the player he's replaced is Harry Kane, and we know he was nursing that facial injury from the weekend's draw against Bayer Leverkusen. Obviously fit enough to start tonight. Whether it's injury related or tactical, we do not know, but Harry Kane is off, and Kingsley Coman, the man who scored the winner in the 2020 Champions League final for Bayern, is on as the second half resumes. Pat Bonner, your thoughts on that change?
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see. Will Koeman just go straight in to that centre forward position? He'd play completely different than Harry Kane. He won't drop off the way that Harry Kane does, so he'll be playing almost on the shoulder of people. Maybe he'll come the odd time, but this is Celtic on the attack.
Here's Jota, squeezes it into the box, good turn. Hatate dummies the shot, tries to work space on the right foot, and the tackle comes in and it pings away only as far as Carter Vickers, and the referee has spotted something. Upamecano, is he down in the box, and the referee has spotted an infringement at Jota. He's not been too involved in an attacking sense so far, but that was a little glimpse of him teasing on the left-hand side, the defender, and then Hatate, you're just waiting for him, Pat, to just pull the trigger there.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at obviously Hatate's just come down on Upamecano's foot, and that's probably why the referee give the foul. He was a bit late calling it, but it was a good opportunity again for Hatate. Cut on the inside after getting a little pass from Jota, and just had opened up for a second as if but he just couldn't get a shot away.
Now it's slipped through. Chance here for Bayern. Goretzka in the box. Shot saved by Schmeichel.
Yeah.
Brilliant stop from the Celtic goalkeeper.
Yeah, the first time Celtic had been opened up right through the middle. Great stop though from Schmeichel. We talked about before the game the big saves at the right moment, and that was crucial. Comes out, spreads himself. I'm glad it was Goretzka that was going through rather than maybe one of the other three higher up the pitch, but a good run from him, and again a big space there for him to exploit, but Schmeichel coming up with a critical save at the start of this game. And again, this is a critical time at the start, just to allow Celtic just to settle into the game. Don't give anything away.
Yeah, it was their undoing in the first leg, conceding just before and just after half-time in Glasgow. But Kasper Schmeichel doing well to narrow the angle. And
so what you have with Bayern Munich now, they've got obviously Musiala up there, Gnabry up there, you've got Koeman up there. They're in the game.
Through Gnabry, right hand side of the box. Now it's with Stanisic, dummies the cross. Gnabry now blocked. Jota tries to close the space, but Upamecano gets there first. Bayern still with it on the edge of the Celtic box, but Celtic forcing them back. Musiala, Kimmich, square for Goretzka, and out to the left hand side in Guerrero infield for Kimmich, and it's now on the left hand side. Coman comes in on the right foot, chips in a little ball. He was trying to clip it towards Gnabry, but Celtic defend it, and Bayern will come again.
Yeah, I was just going to say, those four players now, including Olise up front, they'll almost play without a centre forward, and they're more difficult to pick up because they'll be making little runs, and they'll be almost, their movement, they will be interchanging, and that's when Celtic have just got to play their positions.
And here's Coman down the left hand side, chips in the ball, but it's to Hatate just around the penalty spot, and he flicks it away with his head. And Bayern keep the pressure up. It's pinged to the right corner of the box. Olise controls it on the chest. Just doesn't seem an awful lot of urgency in Bayern's play though. The pressure they've got, and they just kind of seem to slow it down at times. But here's Olise, who will certainly try and quicken this up as he comes in on the left foot along the edge of the box, tries to curl one, but it's well wide of Schmeichel's right hand post, and it remains Bayern 0, Celtic 0, 2-1 to Bayern on aggregate.
Yeah, I think Sloop again does well. He knows that he's going to come in on that inside, and he's holding his position. I'm just looking at the save from Schmeichel again. Stays big, does that big 5-point save that his father maybe perfected before everybody else. You could call it a handball save, and just makes himself so big that there was no space to get the ball past him.
And now Maida up the other end, but Upamecano recovers, and then Neuer with a risky pass, but the risk pays off as he finds Upamecano, but then that's a poor one, which Celtic, and Kuhn leaps up in the air and gets a head on it, but it doesn't go to a teammate, and Bayern get away with it. But there have been a few moments of slackness from the Bundesliga leaders.
Yeah, that's the bit that Upamecano, there's always that sort of kind of mad moment that happens, and that was a risky pass from almost over in the right back position to try to find his left back, and it just was nearly cut out.
Johnston.
That was a great tackle. That was a great tackle. Gets the ball and plays it down. You know what I mean? Poor refereeing for me.
And now it's given away by Bayern. No Sloop down the left hand side, and he's going towards the corner of the box. Now it's infield to Jota, back out to McGregor, who slides it down the side of the box for Jota, who returns it to McGregor, who flicks it towards the penalty area. Bayern defend it. There was a little half opening down the left hand side for Celtic, but now Bayern come forward in the counter, and Olise looking for the run down the middle of the pitch from Gnabry, but that was a one-on-one situation for Celtic at the back, but the pass was poor from Bayern, and now it's Kuhn on the halfway line for Celtic. Kuhn knocks it in front of himself and goes back to trusty Brendan Rodgers, throws his arms up in frustration a little bit, wanted a forward pass there as Jota plays it off Musiala, and then Kimmich just hooks it behind himself rather blindly back towards Neuer, but safe in the knowledge that his goalkeeper will mop that up, and he does.
Yeah, Jota got a bang in the face there, and maybe the referee's got to open up and stop the game because there's a head injury.
Yeah.
He's done.
Yeah, and Jota he's getting back to his feet, but perhaps a chance to have a little word with James McFadden to see his early thoughts on Celtic in the second half and the Bayern change as well at half time.
Yeah, well, much like the first half, I think Celtic have looked comfortable in possession. The Bayern change for me is a big one because, you know, Harry Kane clearly wasn't 100% for me, but I think that this front line has a potential to be a lot more dynamic. I know that you don't have that out-and-out striker, but Harry Kane doesn't play as an out-and-out striker anyway. He drops deep, so I think that, you know, they'll be very fluid, and I think it's a positive for Bayern that they've got more energy up in that front line. But Celtic have to just keep plugging away, just keep doing what they're doing, and wait for that opening. The longer it stays 0-0, obviously the better it is for Celtic. They might get that chance that turns this game round.
Thanks, James. On we go. Bayern in possession. Jota looked like he was getting some attention to his eye there, a contact lens or something. He got a dunk to the face anyway, but he's okay at the moment. He's still rubbing his eye as he jogs across the pitch. But
yeah, it was one of them where the ball's actually smacked and almost caught him, and he maybe he just feels sorry for himself a little bit, but he still needed to get the treatment, and he's back in play. He'll be okay.
He is indeed. Bayern work it to the left-hand side. It's laid infield, and now it's Upamecano, the centre back, goes to Kimmich in the centre circle. Now it's Kim, South Korea international, and then Guerrero on the left touchline. Alphonso Davies, first choice left back at Bayern, been out injured recently. He is on the bench tonight, but I dare say he won't be risked unless something was very much needed from a Bayern point of view. As Hatate and Celtic battle in midfield, Jota off the head and Hatate forward for Maeda, comes off his head and it's then bounces for Kim Min-jae, a Scudetto winner with Napoli a couple of seasons ago before the switch to Bayern. And then Musiala with a magnificent touch and gives it to Elise down the right hand side. He's inside Schlupp, and then he gives it to Musiala in the area, tries the backheel return, gets it all wrong, and McGregor is able to pounce for Celtic, and it's played out for a throw-in on this near side. Bayern 0, Celtic 0, 53.5 played.
Yeah, it's Gnabry that's is almost playing through the middle with coming out on the right hand side, but it was really good play again between himself and Musiala.
Jota for Maeda, but Upamecano wins the ball. Forward now for Coman, shuffles it onto the right foot. Now it's Elise towards the corner of the penalty area, gives it now for Coman in the area, forced wide, back to the edge of the box where Goretzka is robbed by Maeda, backtracking. Goretzka, Elise right hand side, and he squeezes it past to Musiala. Now it's Elise looking again to get it in on the left foot and try and whip one in if he can, but he's got no space, and Schlupp gets a toe in, and it's now with Stanisic. Elise curls it with the left foot into the midfield. Musiala drops in, strong challenge from Carter Vickers, flicks it to Kuhn, goes back to Johnston. Now Carter Vickers, and back to Schmeichel. Takes a touch, the Celtic goalkeeper puts it along the grass outside his area to Johnston, who flicks it forward. That's a nice touch infield, and Bayern win it though, and Bayern spring forward. It's Musiala, left hand side of the box. Musiala, no way through, gives it to Goretzka and Kimmich, and Stanisic round the back, and he can't lay it across, swipes at it with the right boot, and it goes behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, Bayern starting to look a little bit more dangerous. That was a miss hit to the back post from Stanovic, and just silly getting off the hook a little bit.
Yeah, that Goretzka chance, still the best one of this second half. The midfielder was through, it's on his left foot as well, you would fancy him, but smashed it, and Schmeichel made the save, and Stanisic at the back post, as we see shots of Peter Schmeichel.
Yeah, what was impressive about it was his timing of when to come out and spread himself, not just rushing out, but he just delayed a little bit and then sort of came out when he needed to almost narrow the space.
Celtic win it after a poor pass from Elise was intercepted by Jota, and now it's with Carter Vickers in the centre circle. Bayern 0, Celtic 0, 2-1 to the German side on aggregate as we hit minute 56 in the Allianz Arena. So far so good for Celtic. First half chances were squandered, but they are right in this tie, trailing by 1 goal, 0-0 on the night, as McGregor takes it back to his own goal. Celtic have to go back to Schmeichel in the goal, and it's rolled to Trusty, edge of his own box. The American takes it forward. Now it's with McGregor wearing the captain's armband. Celtic in the dark green change kit, Bayern in their sort of cream kit this evening, as Schlupp goes back to Trusty and Celtic, and inviting a bit of pressure as Schmeichel miles out his goal, then takes it. They work it well to Hatate, and then Carter Vickers out to Johnston under a bit of pressure, plays it up the line to Kuhn, back to goal. He's got nowhere to go, but has to put the pass back to Carter Vickers, who takes a couple of touches, and then his chip pass takes a deflection. Engels goes in, breaks for Bayern in midfield in the Celtic half, and that's a little slow from Gnabry, and Maeda nipped in, and now it's Jota just over the halfway line, left hand side, appeals for handball, not given. Jota, he's got 2 up against him. Elise is one of them, he evades him, and Jota looks for Maeda in the box. It's easily picked off, and Gnabry, and then poor touch from Upamecano. Engels hits the turf.
That's a free kick.
Free kick given by the referee. He's told to get up. Now Musiala's looking to launch the counter. He goes forward, and he's found Stanisic, and it's a 3-on-2. Celtic have players back now. Stanisic chips it to the back post. Coman controls with the left boot. He's in the area, goes for the byline. Coman sliding challenge. Schmeichel comes out, and it's with Kuhn now, and Celtic breathe a sigh of relief. Engels, edge of his own box, and then for Hatate, who barrels round 360, and then just gets the pass to Engels, who has to slide, and Gnabry's won it back for Bayern.
Yeah, they just tidy up a little bit on that, on their passing. You know, Celtic just, I thought that was a free kick, I've got to say, on Engels at the edge of their box, and the referee didn't give it, and allowed Bayern Munich to counter-attack, and they had that sort of extra player high up the pitch. Celtic did really well to get back in again and defend as a unit.
We are on 58 minutes. Still early for Celtic to be thinking about kitchen sink in terms of trying to get a goal that would bring them level in this tie. As Upamecano controls on the right foot, slides a lovely pass forward for Elise. He's got Schlupp in front of him, Jigson on the left foot, and Schlupp reads him so well. And then Elise away and back to Goretzka, former teammates at Palace, of course, as Kimmich gives it to Musiala. Musiala dancing towards the edge of the box, gets a low strike away, but it's wide of Schmeichel's left-hand post as the Celtic goalkeeper dived low to try and make the save, but he didn't need to.
Yeah, dangerous getting when he gets into those little spaces. You know what's in his mind. He just didn't connect that time. But that was a really good tackle from Johnson. I'm just looking on Koeman when he got into a great position down that sort of left-hand side inside the box.
Let's get the thoughts of James McFadden. I think Adam Ida is coming on for Jota by the look of it, James.
Yeah, Ida's coming on. Maeda's going on to the left-hand side. Just that bit of freshness up front, particularly when Celtic have the ball. Ida can use his physicality, maybe, you know, stretch those legs and get in behind. But I think the game's feels like the game's opening up. It's getting a bit stretched. Celtic are doing well still, but Bayern are starting to look a little bit more dangerous in the attack.
Thank you, James. As Maeda's first job was to try and keep it in play, which was asking a lot of even him, and he didn't manage to do it. Bayern throw. Stanisic right back for Bayern this evening, back to Upamecano. Maeda starts to put the pressure on, goes backwards to Kim, and then Upamecano, and then Neuer plays it across his own box. It's a bobbling, horrible pass, and just played away by Goretzka on the outside of his boot, just in the nick of time for Bayern. Now it's Musiala up to halfway, crosses halfway. Now Guerrero on the left-hand side, running at the Celtic defence, but they've got plenty numbers back. And Bayern again get towards the final third and kind of just stop and knock it backwards, and now it's work to the left touchline. Coman coming in on the right foot, and it's square for Upamecano just outside the centre circle. Forward pass to Elise, who they're trying to get the ball to, but he's not getting much change out of the Celtic winger, who is now Maeda on this side, and Schlupp as well, as McGregor pounces on a loose ball in midfield. Trusty for Carter Vickers. Carter Vickers across to Johnston. Johnston pass forward for Kuhn. Again, he's got a man at his back, but this time he does well to keep it. Goes back to Johnston. and it's forward, and Ingles and Celtic retaining possession well, and this is where it's challenging when you're tired and you've been running and giving everything for an hour against one of Europe's top sides. Can you keep making those tight passes at the back when there's not much space? Can you keep switched on in key moments? And just a spell of possession here, and that's not a great pass from McGregor for Hatate, and Celtic managed to recover the ball, and it's chipped over, and Adamida's there, but it just bounces away from the Irishman and into the arms of Manuel Neuer.
If he got a touch on it, Neuer had committed himself to come and take that ball out to the edge of the box, just inside his box. If he got any little touch on that, because it was a good run down the side of Kim, and he would have taken it round Manuel Neuer, just got away from him a little bit. But a good play from Celtic again.
Bayern unbeaten in 20 home league games in the Champions League. Celtic need to end that streak if they're going to force extra time, at the very least in this tie. It's arrowed forward to Elise, right corner of the box. Danger for Celtic, it's on the right foot. Elise with a strike is straight down the throat of Kasper Schmeichel.
I'd be happy with that all day. Just, again, obviously allowing the shot to come in. He's kind of almost side-footed it. I thought he would have put his laces through it across Schmeichel, but straight down, and Schmeichel dealt with it very easily indeed. But listen, as long as this game keeps going the way it's going, we're into the last, almost, where are we at? Nearly into the last half hour, and if they can get it down to about 50 minutes, I think there'll be a big chance here for Celtic.
Maeda, he's got the pace to get there on the loose ball. He's played out towards Kuhn, slightly challenged. It breaks for Nicholas Kuhn. He scored! Nicholas Kuhn has scored for Celtic. He has given them the leads at the Allianz Arena against the mighty Bayern Munich in the Champions League, and crucially, he has levelled this knockout tie. What a moment for Celtic! What a moment for Nicholas Kuhn! It is Bayern Munich 0, Celtic 1, 2-2 on aggregate.
I did say the big chance can come in the second half. They've been waiting for it. Again, Maeda involved, using his pace brilliantly, and again Kim going to ground and allowing Kuhn to get in, and he finishes with a plum this time across Schmeichel, and he really should have cut it out, Kim, but he didn't. He went to ground, and once you go to ground, you've got to make contact. Didn't make contact, and there was Kuhn all facing up against one of the best goalkeepers in the world, and just bends it round him into the corner. Brilliant opportunity now for Celtic to go on. That'll create shockwaves around the Bayern Arena Stadium, and wow.
Pick the bones out of that one, James McFadden.
Well, how's your timing, Packy? Couldn't have been any better. I mean, you're right, it comes for the pressure of Maeda. We know that's what he has, and then, you know, Kim going to ground, but you still have to go and put the ball in the back of the net. Such cool, calm finish from Nicholas Kuhn. And you have to say, we've done nothing but praise Celtic for their performance, their approach to the game tonight. I don't think he could have scripted it any better, Brendan Rodgers, because they've been absolutely outstanding. They've used the ball well, they've carried a threat in the attack. He'll be buzzing with that one, because it comes from forcing a mistake and getting Celtic back level in this tie. And listen, they're not finished yet.
No, just the change has been made. You've spotted that,
Yeah, it's a couple of changes. Vincent Kompany responds. He brings off Serge Gnabry and Rafael Guerreiro, and on comes Leroy Sané and Alphonso Davies back from injury, and that shows you the importance Vincent Kompany is now placing in this final. 30 or 25 plus whatever is added. Nicholas Kuhn's third goal in 10 Champions League matches, and it is a massive one. He got 2 against Leipzig. What a huge goal for Celtic. They are level in the tie, 2-2, 1-0 up in the Allianz Arena. And can they build on it? Or are Bayern going to show their class? Tension.
Well, they put all their speed and quality on this moment on the pitch with Sané coming on. I did say to him, he's the one with real pace. But Celtic know that they can maybe create another chance, and it depends how brave Bayern are, because again, Celtic winning the ball back in the midfield. Brilliant.
Celtic relentless tonight. Trusty McGregor for Trusty to Schlupp.
there was a period there that they couldn't get a hold of the ball, Celtic, but they had a just before the goal. They got a nice bit of period where they could again keep possession of the ball and just got them back into the game.
As Johnston closed down on the far side, out for a Celtic throw-in near the line with the edge of their own box, and Bayern throwing the big guns on now. Well, they started with big guns as well, let's be honest. They're all big guns, but
but listen, no matter what happens in this game now, this has been a magnificent performance from them.
Here's Elise forwards, and now it's with Leroy Sané, edge of the box. Maida's the one getting back, making sure he can't get the shot away. Now it's Kimmich, and he dinks it to the back of the box, controlled by Coman. Now it's Musiala, edge of the area, looking for a space for a shot. Square for Kimmich. Kimmich now puts it over the top corner of the box. It's with Bayern now. Coman with a shot, right-footed effort straight at Kasper Schmeichel once more.
Strike though, good pace on the strike, just straight down at Schmeichel, and he just keeps his balance, gets his body behind the ball, and collects.
Yeah, it's
you would expect them now to turn the heat up on Celtic, hoping that they're going to get this crucial goal. To see Kuhn just limping it a little bit, whether he's got a knock.
Yeah, he's taking a wee dunt, but well, it's unthinkable for Bayern Munich, from their point of view, to be in a position like this. They want to win this competition.
Yeah, he's down again, Kuhn. Yeah,
he's on the turf. This isn't good from a Celtic point of view. The goal scorer is stretching out his left leg.
I don't know whether he's got, it's his calf or his knee, but obviously he's got his big goal and that. But this Yang is obviously one that would come on in that position. Yeah, listen, he's taken his goal really well. Perfectly placed past Schmeichel. Just watching the replay here. But again, terrible defending when you think
it's
about it.
Almost like he pulls out, Pat, as if he thinks, I'm going to foul him here, and he almost pulls out.
Just didn't make contact with the ball.
Yeah.
Just did not make contact with the ball. When you go to ground like that as a centre half, you've got to be sure of yourself, and he was not sure of himself at all. And suddenly then it allows you, you're not even in a position then when you can recover when you go to ground.
Well, the whistles go around the Allianz Arena as the Bayern Munich fans grow frustrated at the fact that there's a long delay here for some treatment for Nicholas Kuhn, who is walking off the pitch, and he's going to be replaced by Hyun-Jin Yang for Celtic, and that is blow.
Yang did well last week when he came on. He knows what he has to do. He's got to do a good defensive role here, but also close people down, a little bit of sharpness to get to the ball, and when he gets it then keep control of it, so he knows exactly what his role is now.
Yeah, he was involved in the goal. Maida scored at Celtic Park, and Nicholas Kuhn is off the pitch. He's been replaced. He's on his feet and stretching out. Hopefully for Celtic, it's nothing too serious, but on we go. The task at hand here is to keep Bayern at bay. It bounces on the edge of the box, and it's away by Trusty, only as far as Kimmich. Now it's Upamecano in the Celtic half, has to go backwards to Kim. Neither of the centre halves covering themselves in glory for the Celtic goal. Now it's Alphonso Davies caught by Yang, and now Engels strides over halfway. Celtic break. Engels looks for the pass for Maida. It bounces. Maida's there with a header, but it's straight at Neuer.
Wow, it was a really good ball from Engels, and Maida using that pace again to get beyond the defender and getting a header on the ball. Just couldn't guide it into the corner, straight at Neuer. And Neuer just a simple task of picking it up, but really good play from Celtic again.
Trusty was penalised there for bringing down Elise, but Bayern take the free kick promptly. And this has been an incredible performance from Celtic, regardless of what happens in the final 20 plus stoppage time. They have had so many good chances, and crucially, finally, Nicholas Kuhn took one of them after Dyson Maida pinched the ball in the Bayern half. It rolled him in, and he slotted past Neuer as Bayern get a free kick. Elise fouled again by McGregor this time, and he just pulled him back.
It hasn't shown the replay of Maeda's chance yet, but I think that was an incredible chance.
He did so well to even just get goal side in terms of sprinting back, but Celtic with some defending to do now, and it's a fairly central position for Kimmich, with 35 yards from the Celtic goal, and he just lazily swipes into the box, and it didn't really. Celtic will take that all day. It was a pretty straight ball, and Adamida got something on it, out for a throw by Sani to Kimmich. Now back to Sani, right hand side. Now a bit of danger here. Sloop's got one-on-one defending to do. Sani pokes it in with the left foot to the back post. A wonderful cross, but no one in a Bayern shirt gambled. Musiala was in there, he was on his heels, and the chance is gone for the German Giants.
Great improvisation, but I think he took everybody by surprise. Obviously his own team as much as the Celtic team, and luckily enough this is the chance. Yeah, he just couldn't. It was almost bounced up, and he just couldn't get enough direction on it into the corner, and all he could do was just to get his head on it, and it just went straight in to Neuer's hands. Just looking at the replay here.
Yeah, you're spot on, Pat. He just had to throw himself at it. He did really well to get on it. He just, because he was almost at full stretch, he struggled so much to get any flick to get it away from the goalkeeper, and it was comfortable enough for Neuer. But Celtic causing Bayern Munich problems. They have the lead 1-0, 2-all on aggregate as Upamecano was pressured. It's Olise closed down by Sloop. It breaks for Kimmich though. Now it's Olise in his own half, and gives the pass infield to Upamecano, finds space, and Upamecano marches up to the centre circle. Bayern 0, Celtic 1, 2-all on aggregate, live on Sports Sound. Champions League knockout action as Johnston looks for a long ball for Ida. It's intercepted, but it was good tackle, as Paki says, from Johnston initially.
Yeah, great tackle. He just couldn't find enough pace on that long pass for Adamida, but it was the right intention.
Here's Sane coming in from the right hand side, looks for Musiala, first time pass, Olise on the left foot, sliding challenge from Sloop, blocked, and the referee's happy with it. It's well timed by Sloop, and now it's stabbed into the area. Diving header, past the post. What an opportunity for Leon Goretzka. Full stretch, diving header, can't find the target.
Yeah, listen, I thought he was maybe in an offside position when he's got his header on it. We'll just see again the replay. But it was a lovely little ball in from Kimmich into that space, and he gets inside Alistair Johnson at the back post. But it was 6 inches wide of Schmeichel's right hand post. Big chance for Bayern.
That started as if it was heading for the bottom corner, but the swerve on it was always taken away from goal, and it went past the target. And Celtic, with the 1-goal advantage, we're heading for extra time.
Did we ever think they got into the last 15 minutes that Celtic have a chance in this game? One big chance, that's all they need. And I'll tell you, this place will go quiet, absolutely quiet.
Celtic with the ball. Trusty looks for the long pass. It takes a nick of a Bayern player through to Stanisic. 74 minutes on the clock. It's played short by Neuer. Gets it back on the edge of his own penalty area. Dinks it to Stanisic. Away from Maidau, then slips. And Stanisic goes forward, and he's found Sane, and Sane's inside Sloop. Is battled back well. He was helped by a poor touch from Sane, who took it almost towards the Celtic defender. And now it's with Kimmich. Just outside the centre circle, passes it forward across to the far side for Alphonso Davies. Davis inside to Kimmich. Barrels round.
Yeah, Tati's got to get himself back in goal side of I'm looking at.
Here's Coman looking to stand it to the back post, but it's overhead and behind for a Celtic goal kick. Still 1-0, Celtic lead, 2-all on aggregate.
Yeah, I'm just going to say, when the ball's on the opposite side, the midfielder for Celtic in that sort of 3 on the opposite has got to get into a position, get his body open, see where the danger is, because they will shift it very quickly to that free player, and that's where the danger lies. I was watching Hattati there, and I don't know whether James would back me up on that one.
And it's a chance here for Bayern. It's given away. In comes Musiala, shot blocked, spins. Goretzka tries to control it. It drops for Kimmich, nudges it to Sane, right corner of the box. Celtic with so many bodies back, and it's Stanisic. And now it's Kimmich in the right back area, advanced though. And it's with Upamecano. Kimmich Kimmich to the right hand side, Stanisic. Celtic have defended the situation well initially, but now Sani takes on the turn inside to Musiala, back to goal, gives it back to Sani, gets onto the left foot, strike! Wide, and Celtic survive again.
Yeah, that's the luck you need, though. That's the luck you need. Obviously, they're up against quality players here. Really good play from Sani, cutting in the inside, linking in with Musiala, and then just bending it round the post again. And Celtic just surviving, you've got to say, this moment in time.
Well, Leroy Sani has certainly made a difference.
Yeah, he's got his quality. We've seen him at Celtic Park. He's got pace, he's got ability on the ball. He's very difficult to pin down.
Bayern Munich 0, Celtic 1. Nicholas Kuhn, after 63 minutes, is the difference on the night. 2-2 on aggregate. What a night of Champions League action. And then it's another heart-stopping moment as Neuer plays one out. Yang was close to it, but Bayern get it away. Musiala for Olise. Plays it over halfway for Sani, who takes it with the outside of his left boot. He's running towards the edge of the box. Celtic with numbers back. Sani in field for Olise, round away from Engels, and the free kick is given about 22-23 yards out, fairly central, and a dangerous position for Bayern Munich, which I'm sure they will have many candidates for.
Yeah, listen, I think it was probably the better option for Celtic at that moment in time. Engels went in, had to, it was again good footwork from Olise to go round it, but it's definitely free kick. But I think the other option that I think they had an overlap down the right hand side. Stanisic was going, and I think when he cut inside, it was happy. Obviously, it's a chance for them, but I think Schmeichel will be up to this. What do you think? Come on, give us your prediction.
I'm not calling it. Let's. There's tense faces, fingernails being bitten all around the Allianz Arena. An epic night it has been. As we approach 78 minutes, we're going to extra time as it stands. 2-2 on the night. Celtic in front by 1-0 in Munich. But Bayern have a free kick. Kasper Schmeichel, all in pink, just positioning his wall. Bayern have got a few players to try and make a wall of their own, and Olise fancies this on the left foot. Kimmich's there as well, and it's going to be Michael Olise, curls it with the left foot off the wall, back to Kimmich, deflected, and Schmeichel with a brilliant save to his right. Brilliant instinctive save from Kasper Schmeichel, but the danger's not done. Coman now, left side of the box.
Back post.
Now it's Kimmich, chips it forward, cleared by Carter Vickers. Musiala on the edge, and it's squeezed to the left hand side now in Davis. To the byline, cut back, Celtic boot on it, then Yang juggles with it, doesn't get rid, breaks for Carter Vickers, who balloons it up into the air. Oh, it's tense, it's fraught in the Celtic box as Bayern swarm around. Musiala dancing towards the edge of the penalty area, and he runs too far and into traffic, and Celtic get a rather blessed foot on it and lash it away. But dear me, that was frantic. 79 played, still Celtic lead 1-0.
Yeah, it was a great reaction from Schmeichel. Obviously the first one was blocked off the wall. They've hit it, and it was pace in that ball, and he had to react. Yes, it wasn't right in the corner, so he allowed it, but it was coming through bodies, and again Schmeichel coming up with the big save at the right moment.
It was indeed. Had one earlier from Goretzka. He's had a couple others in the second half that have been straight at him. Well struck though they were, and Bayern Munich would not have expected to be trailing by 1-0 going into the 80th minute. It's back with Schmeichel in his own 6-yard box. A concerned look on the face of Vincent Kompany. Celtic play it up the right hand side. Yang takes a good touch, keeps possession well, knocks it infield, and now it's Hatate. Oh, he's nutmegged there, Coman I think, and he's got it to Engels on the right hand side. McGregor now. Celtic just keeping possession, trying to take the sting out of Bayern's response, the onslaught that has come in the last 5, 6, 7 minutes as Bayern look for an equaliser on the night that would get them back in a position where they'd be going through on aggregate. Austin Trusty, 10 minutes left. McGregor back to Schmeichel. I have to say the composure Celtic have played with tonight is just so impressive.
Very impressive for a team, you know, that comes from people will say not the strongest league in Europe, but they have done so well, and the way that Brendan wants them to play.
He probably could not have forecasted it better, Brendan Rodgers, bar a couple of chances that you might have liked to have seen gone into the net. But we are almost at 81 minutes on the clock and Bayern give it away. And it's Hatate back to Schlupp and then to Schmeichel in his own box. The experienced goalkeeper that takes a touch, rolls it to Carter Vickers, who goes through the air looking for a player on the right hand side. It was Yang and he couldn't keep it in, and it will be a Bayern throw. And that just invites a little bit of pressure there as we watch Vincent Kompany try and retrieve a loose ball to get on with things and slip. He's on the pitch there as well.
He is. Shouldn't be on the pitch, but anyway, he's just trying to get his team some urgency. But we're into the last 10 minutes in this game.
The 6-time winners, as it stands, are being taken to extra time by the Scottish champions. Here's Alphonso Davies. Goes backwards to Kim. Kim. Square for Upamecano. Centre circle in his own half. Stops, then goes again to try and get rid of Hatate, which he does. Powerful strike from Upamecano. Forward for Sané. Now it's Olise. Olise across the centre circle with his pass. And Bayern, again, the tempo is just... There's just not much urgency as it's switched now. That's better for Stanisic, right-hand side of the box. Low cross into the edge of the 6-yard box. I think Carter Vickers was there, got a foot on it, and it goes for a Bayern corner on the far side.
Good defending. He's got to get first contact on the ball. Just unfortunately, it has come off him and has gone to a corner. Kane's obviously missing, but they've Upamecano, they've got Goretzka, they've got Kim, all getting into a position where they can go and attack this ball. Celtic have just again got to defend, gets concentration, man for man mark, and there's been a few changes on both sides, so they've a job to do, the ones that's come on the pitch.
Corner to Bayern, who trail 1-0, and the referee Benoit Bastien of France is having a little word with some of the players in the box, and he's now asking for someone to come over. Is he? Referees tend to like to do this. It's Kim Min-jae's unhappy with. He's having a little word with the Bayern defender. Finally, we will get this corner. I think he's just standing into Trusty.
Yeah, but he has to stand his ground, you know.
Yeah, and now Kimmich is ready to take this corner on the far side. Tense moments at the Allianz Arena. Celtic with the slenderest of margins on the night. 2-2 in aggregate. Kimmich steps up, delivers with the right boot. Musiala was there, but it was taken away from him. Good defending at the near post by Celtic. Now it's Coman, Sané. Now it's back. Strike from distance, headed away by Trusty. It's now Celtic on their ropes, curled into the 6-yard box. Fantastic goalkeeping from Schmeichel, who just came off his line and plucked that out the sky with ease. And now he's picked one in behind, looking for Maida, but Bayern get it back to Manuel Neuer in the nick of time.
Yeah, just Kim, I think it was matching up with Maida there. But it was really good play from Kasper Schmeichel. Takes the cross and then tries a beautiful volley down the side of the centre half, but he just had too much for Maeda. But good idea, great idea actually.
6 minutes plus stoppages left for either to find a goal, or we're heading to extra time. Bayern with the ball halfway up Celtic territory. Stanisic to Sané. Sané, and that was, just thought he'd left Schlupp for dead there, but the Celtic left back just got his foot on the ball. Wasn't fooled by the body movement of Sané. Brilliant defending. The Bundesliga leaders are far from done though. And they come again, but just surprised with the tendency they've got to go backwards sometimes, Bayern, but this time they decide it's time to run it forward. And again, McGregor, it's a challenge as it came in midfield. And Yang dancing about, dispossessed in the middle of the park. Now it's Stanisic, he's got Leroy Sané to his right. If he looks up, doesn't see him, slip with the challenge, and it deflects forward. And Celtic clear, but Sané was the ball there.
Yeah, just when Hatate picked it up in midfield, he had no out ball. You know, he's trying to keep it under control, but he's got nobody higher up the pitch than him that he could go and pass to.
Coman goes down the outside, brilliant recovery challenge though. Superb from Alistair Johnston. Bayern of the corner. Bayern Munich 0, Celtic 1. 2-2 in aggregate.
Yeah, it's very, very anxious times, nerve-wracking times actually at this moment in time. You don't want to lose it now with about 4 minutes left in normal time, but this is concentration levels.
Kimmich, the Germany captain, ready to take, curls it in with the right foot, back post, flicked away and behind for another corner on this near side now.
Tati was the man that time to get up above Koeman with Upamecano just coming in at the back post, but that was really good defending from Hatate, the smallest man on the pitch probably.
Yeah, and the Bayern Ultras trying to roar their team on with the flags behind the goal. On a freezing night in Munich, Bayern desperate for an equaliser that would send them through, as well as Kimmich curls in with the right boot, header over the top onto the roof of the net, and Celtic survive another wave of attack from Bayern Munich. Yeah,
there will be extra time here. Obviously, there are a lot of subs come on the pitch, so there will be probably about 4 or 5 minutes, I'd assume, to be added on to this game. So there'll be a bit of concentration, a bit of work to be done yet for Celtic to take this into extra time. And if they bring it into extra time, it's an incredible achievement from them.
Absolutely, it would be, as Kasper Schmeichel takes the long goal kick. You're listening to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland. Champions League action, and Celtic looking to come forward. Hatate plays it out to the right hand side, cross in from Engels, and that's a tired one as he just gave everything he had, launched the right boot at it, and it sails behind for a Bayern goal kick.
Yeah, you can see the idea again. He wanted to wrap his foot around that, get it in between the defence and Neuer in the back line, and just got too much height on it. But he has the quality, you know. But you're right. He's put so much into this game.
Bayern survive a hairy moment to keep the ball at the back, and it's Alphonso Davies infield to Goretzka. Big switch forward with the right boot to Sane. It bounces for him, but he controls with the head. He's got Schlupp and Maida shutting down his space. Back to Stanisic. Now it's Upamecano. 88 minutes, Bayern 0, Celtic 1, and they're forced all the way back to Manuel Neuer. And this is what Celtic want to see, and they've spread the field, trying to make it difficult in the dying moments for the Bundesliga leaders. The 6-time European champions, Celtic leading in the Allianz Arena, and about to do, if they can hang on, what no team has done in the Champions League against Bayern for the last 20 games, which has beat them in 90 minutes on their own patch.
That's an achievement in itself, isn't it?
It certainly is.
Well, I'm looking at the Bayern players. They also don't want to take risk, because they know that one mistake across that sort of almost defensive line, and Celtic could be in for the winner. So they're taking their time, they're passing the ball, they're not overcommitting.
And it's on the right hand side now with Sane, but Celtic get back and again put a challenge in, and every time it goes to a Bayern winger, he's doubled up on. Just the work rate of the Celtic wingers as well, superb. Everything about this performance has been mature, composed, aggressive as well when it's needed to be. And Bayern just look a little out of ideas at the moment. Dangerous thing to say as we hit the final 30 seconds of the 90, and Koeman takes a little run forward and gets a free kick about 15 yards into the Celtic half.
Yeah, Alistair Johnson knew that he had to do something, because he came on the inside and sort of left him in his wake, so he took him out.
4 minutes of added time. We've hit 90 minutes. Upamecano up from the back, and now Celtic try and play out Yang with dancing feet. He's given it away to Kimmich. He's robbed, and now Bayern have it, moving towards Celtic's final third. Shot from distance is a poor one, and it's on target, but it had no pace or direction from Kimmich, and it's claimed by Schmeichel. And we're into 4 minutes of added time, and we're heading for extra time as it stands.
Wow. None of us thought it was going to be a late night for us all, but listen, let's savour the moment. Incredible.
Still work to do though for Celtic. Trusty heads forward to Maida, flicks it on, but there's no one beyond him. Upamecano controls and puts a pass to no one, which is headed towards Ida. Ida goes down under a challenge from Kim, but the referee is happy with it. Neuer at the back.
You've got this shout for everything, haven't you?
I don't think they can hear you from here, Pat.
No, I'm afraid not.
It's tense as Celtic try and get themselves into extra time. They could nick something, but right now they'd settle for getting into the added time, and as it's played over the top, and Sané can't get on the end of it, but he will stop it going out for a Celtic goal kick. Great pace, and he runs towards Sloop, right hand side of the box, slides it to the edge. Musiala can't gather it. Now it's Kimmich, now it's Sané, right hand side of the box, infield to Elise. Elise curls it in with the left foot, headed by Trusty. Upamecano heads it to the feet of Elise. Left-footed pass now to Stanisic, right-hand side of the box. Stanisic curls it into the area, deflected, and Kimmich stabs it back to Upamecano. Now it's Elise. We've played nearly 2 of the 4 added minutes. Stanisic back to Elise. Bayern pressing for the goal that would send them through on aggregate. Here's Kimmich. Square. Kim Min-jae strides forward from centre half. It's Coman on the left hand side up against Johnston. Wants to come in on that right foot, manages it, gets the cross in, but it's straight at Schmeichel. A poor one from the Frenchman. And Schmeichel does what you would expect any goalkeeper to do, Pat Bonner, in that situation, which is dive on the ball and eat up a few precious seconds.
Take all the time you want at this moment in time. Roll around if you have to.
And we're just seeing some shots of a very glum looking Bayern bench that includes Thomas Müller. They would not have expected this. It was not in the script for Celtic to come to Munich and force extra time. They're a minute and a half from doing so. We've played 2.5 of the 4 added. They want to foul Celtic up the top end of the pitch. They're not going to get it. And Musiala plays it across the centre circle to Elise. Danger now with Sané lurking. Schlupp cuts it out. Breaks for Stanisic in midfield. Chance. It's Coman in the area. Gets on the right foot. Shot blocked. Spins away. Coman goes after it. Coman to Alphonso Davies, cross high to the back post. It's over Hatate. Sané takes it the other side of the area. Now it's Elise to Sané. Sané running at Schlupp, takes it to the byline, dummies the cross, can't get it out his feet, and then Hatate puts the pressure on, a little nudge. Elise curls it in. It's over, diving header, Schmeichel, and then it's forced into the back post. It's heartbreak for Celtic. Alphonso Davies has scored in the final minute of stoppage time to surely send Bayern Munich through to the last 16. Celtic players are on their backs. They can't believe it. They are absolutely devastated. It feels so cruel on the Scottish champions. But Bayern Munich have scored with almost the last kick to level the game on the night and put themselves 3-2 up on aggregate and on course for the last 16.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the replay. A lovely little ball played in. Great save from Schmeichel again, and just Carter Vickers just could not get enough on it as it drops to him. And there, yeah, great save, and just Davies is just coming in on the back of him and just almost gets a block on it as Carter Vickers was clearing his legs. He slipped, actually, Carter Vickers, as he tries to clear it, but oh my, how dreadful in many ways is that. The very last kick of the game.
It is utter heartbreak for Celtic. They could not really have put in a better performance in Munich, in one of the theatres of European football, against one of European football's most storied teams. And right up until the last 30 seconds of stoppage time, they were heading for extra time, and Alphonso Davies has smashed their hopes as we await the verdict on this goal. And a change has been made. Looks like Musiala has gone off and Thomas Müller is coming on to see out this game. And the celebrations on the Bayern bench said it all. Utter relief. The goal will stand. The game restarts, and will Celtic get one more chance? Schmeichel lofts it forwards. It's played up, and that's it. It's all over. Celtic are out of the Champions League, and they're out in the cruelest of fashions after putting in one of their best Champions League performances, if not their best Champions League performance of certainly recent memory, certainly of the last 10-15 years. They were so good going forward, missed some chances before Nicholas Kuhn put them in front on 63 minutes after brilliant work from Dyson Maeda to pinch the ball and play him in. He rolled it past Neuer, and Celtic were in front on the night and level on aggregate. They withstood relentless Bayern pressure, defended well. Schmeichel had to make a couple of good saves, and then right into stoppage time when the job was so close to being done. A ball at the back post, pounced on by Alphonso Davies from just a few yards out as Carter Vickers tried to clear. Finds its way into the bottom corner and sends Bayern Munich marching on to what they will hope will be a home final here come the end of May. Celtic can reflect on a hugely improved and impressive Champions League campaign. They've proved a lot of people who doubted them wrong at this level. They can take so much from this performance, from this whole campaign, but that might have to wait, because right now all they feel is utter devastation and heartbreak, because Bayern Munich have snuck through at the death. Full time at the Allianz Arena. It finished Bayern Munich 1, Celtic 1, Bayern through 3-2 on aggregate.
Celtic in the Champions League.
Live on Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland.
Celtic score!
Yeah, Thomas using the perfect word there. Devastated. The faces of these Celtic players. Kasper Schmeichel, he looks so dejected there. What an incredible save that was from him. Just 30 seconds before the end of extra time there. And then Alphonso Davies, very lucky with the follow-up, just getting the ball over the line for that crucial equaliser to send Bayern Munich through 3-2 on aggregate. James McFadden is out in the arena in Munich for us, James. What an incredible performance from Celtic tonight. So cruel in the end.
Yeah, it was a devastating blow for Celtic, but Kenny, you're right, an absolutely brilliant performance from Celtic. Everything about them, the way they knocked the ball about, the way they looked pretty comfortable and confident in their defending. They managed to, cause Bayern problems, and let me tell you, it was relief around this stadium when that goal went in, because I don't think the crowd felt that the goal was coming. And you could tell, the relief when that ball goes into the back of the net. And it's a cruel way to lose a game, because Celtic have put so much into it. They're just getting, the recognition off of their fans, and obviously they're doing the same and giving the recognition to the fans. But an outstanding performance. Before the game I said they had to be perfect to get anything out of the game. I don't know what more they could have done. I thought they were outstanding, deserved to at least take it to extra time. But that's the way football is. You play against these big teams and they keep going, and they always seem to find a way, and that's exactly what Bayern Munich did tonight. But Celtic, nothing but credit out of this result tonight, this performance, and plenty of food for thought for next season for them, because that was a tremendous display tonight.
Yeah, no doubt at all about that, Tom English. They've done Scottish football proud this evening with that performance. We'll hear, of course, from Brendan Rodgers live on Sports Sound. And we have to take the positives from this, despite how everyone's feeling right now.
Yeah, look, this is sporting cruelty of the most acute kind. Celtic were just magnificent, and I kept on writing down about all the headers and all the blocks and all the pressing and all the graft and all the honesty when they're 1-0 up. They put so much into this game. Everyone's going to talk about the heartbreak and the agony and the pain and the hurt. And yes, of course, it is all of those things. But it's more than that too. It's like pride in that a Scottish team could go to the backyard of one of the giants of European football and play the way Celtic played tonight. I thought they were immense. For much of that game, Bayern Munich must have been thinking, hang on, what's going on here? You're not supposed to be this good. You lot lost 7-1 to Borussia Dortmund, and we're 26 points ahead of them in the Bundesliga. What on earth is going on? Who are you? And who they are is a team that's grown up massively this season in Europe, that they can go toe-to-toe and are denied by a scrappy, horrible old goal. Look, Bayern Munich will say is the most beautiful thing they've scored this season in Europe, but it was a scrappy old horrible thing. To be denied like that, yeah, it's a kick to the solar plexus. But I got to look at the big picture, and the big picture tells me that Celtic have advanced enormously, not in the competition, but they've advanced enormously as a European team that can hold their head up high tonight for everything that they've done on the pitch.
Yeah, you'll hear live, as I say, from Brendan Rodgers on Sports and Pat Bonner alongside us here in the studio part. That was one of the great European performances from a Scottish side.
Yeah, everything was right about it. James has described it, that we were wanting, it was almost, you could say, 99% on how you want to approach a European game, how you want to play. The players were tuned in, they knew exactly what they had to do, and they did it expertly, and they created chances. It wasn't just a goal that they got, but they had 4 or 5 really good chances early on in the game, and they could have and probably should have maybe scored a lot earlier than they did. And to take a team like Bayern Munich, we witnessed last week in that first half as a quality team down to 30 seconds from time, and they haven't been beaten in their own patch. Celtic almost did it. Like, maybe we were shouting too early to say it was going to be a long night, and that. But that's the nature of football, and I'm afraid you've got to keep going to the very, very last minute, and that. But it's heartbreaking for everybody concerned. But pride, all the things that they've learned come. I think into this game tonight, really to the fore. They defended well, they passed the ball well, they were comfortable, they created chances, and every single player who came, subs, everybody that came on, almost nearly created history tonight.
Look at that save. We've just seen a replay from Schmeichel, and he's got to feel devastated, hasn't he?
Every single one of those. I mean, I don't know, I lost count of the amount of kind of clearances and blocks that Schlupp put in. They were all incredible, and Carter Vickers has got very unlucky there. I mean,
he just his standing foot slipped.
His standing foot slipped,
and he cleared it almost onto Alphonso Davies' foot, didn't he? And he just dribbled over the line.
It's a big break for Bayern. Look, Celtic tonight. I thought if they were gonna make a game of it, they were gonna have to be intense and aggressive and in the face like mad dogs in a meat house, charging around like lunatics. They weren't that. They were controlled. They were classy. They played some quality stuff. They created a lot of chances. Then they scored the goal, and then they were incredibly organised. Yes, Bayern, as the game went on, Bayern were creating chances, but Celtic were up to it. Whether it was the defenders or whether it was the goalkeeper, they were up to it. And I just thought, you feel for them. But again, I don't want to be kind of moping around here, because I'm looking at the positives of this.
Yeah, you have to.
And you have to. And it's difficult because all these players will be just crestfallen. But wow, tomorrow, the next week, they're going to grow from this, and they're going to believe, and they're going to be absolutely gagging to get back into the Champions League next season to see if they can go another step.
Yeah, the problem slightly in the second half is that they were forced maybe backwards and into a deep block. They didn't maybe have an out ball because even Adamida had to come back and help, but they were hanging on at that stage. They put so much effort in throughout the game, and they were in the first half. They were nice and high. They were up in their faces. They were creating chances from that. Second half was always going to be that sort of kind of story, how it was going to, and they nearly. And I think if they went into extra time, I think Celtic might have been the one, because the Bayern Munich would have maybe continued doing. It was only one chance that Celtic needed to go through.
It was one-way traffic at the end.
It was
one-way traffic. And who knows, goes into extra time.
It's a different game, extra time.
Yeah, it is. It's a different game. But look, who knows? We'll never know.
We'll never know.
What I will say, is that I have felt, and I've said, on this programme and online for years now, that Celtic had lost their relevance as a European force, Champions League force. They'd lost it. Too many batterings, too much failure. This season, their relevance has been restored. To do this at Bayern Munich people are now going to have a respect for Celtic. And people will always say, oh, Celtic, great atmosphere. Yeah, normally after winning at Celtic Park. Normally after Celtic go out of European competition, whether it's Champions League, whether it's Europa League, whether it's 6 against Atletico Madrid or 7 against Dortmund. This season, since that Dortmund experience, this team has progressed again. And they almost took a seismic step tonight.
Yeah.
You know,
they showed
close.
Tom that they can compete.
Oh, that's
now.
the thing.
And I know that the draw might have been fairly favourable to them to a point, but they have to go and win games. You've got to go through that first phase. You get into a stage here, none of us probably give them any hope.
No.
And they nearly took Bayern Munich, the great Bayern Munich, down into extra time and create real pressure on them. And it's a relief for the fans, a relief for Vincent Kompany also that they got that goal. You could see that.
Yeah.
And while in all those years, while it was lovely for Celtic people to hear these great players of Europe praising the atmosphere at Celtic Park, I got a bit fed up with it, you know. You want people to say, opponents to say, Celtic, they're a bloody nightmare to play against.
Yeah.
We absolutely hate playing against them.
But they're playing.
And Bayern Munich will be saying that tonight.
But they're playing the game the way that Brendan wants to play. They all show composure on the ball. They work the ball from back to front mainly. And they don't panic. They've grown up. They've matured. All the words that we used before. And they're able now to compete. And they have got those quality players. And he will add to this group also. He'll even get better quality now because they have the money in the bank. They know where they have to go to. They know the level that they have to play with. They can't drop off from this. And that's the future of Celtic.
But look, I mean, the goal line, you know, look at Maeda's tenacity there.
Yeah.
Look at the look in his face. That guy was going to chase all night. And he just panics. He panics the defenders into making a mistake.
And that's him coming in off the left.
Yeah, a joy to watch, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's him coming in off the left. He can play through the middle. He can come in off the left. He still has the same tenacity.
He's a ferocious. He's a kind of warrior as a player. Maeda, isn't he? The bigger the challenge, the more he steps up.
Yeah, and as Pat was saying, a great example to any youngster out there. James, I've referred back to a few times the word complete that you used to describe the Leipzig performance. This was on another level this evening to show again the progression, the maturity in this Celtic side. And you know what it's like to go to a stadium like this, to be the underdog, and the superhuman effort that's required to almost pull off here tonight what would have been a major result.
Yeah, absolutely. And I said it before the game, during the game, Celtic, to get anything out of the game, are going to have to suffer. And they did suffer. But you enjoy that suffering because you're getting your rewards. You're in the game, and you're proving people wrong. You know, most people would have looked at this and said, comfortable win for Bayern tonight. They'll progress. Unlucky Celtic, as Tom says. Great stadium, great occasion for the home games. Whereas you come off that game now and people will be saying, "My Celtic are a good side. Look at Celtic. Look what they've done to Bayern Munich. Look how difficult they made it for them." And look, everyone, all the players, the staff, everybody involved will be absolutely gutted at the minute because they'll feel that they could have done or got the result they wanted. They'll feel that they could have won this tie tonight. And I think that shows you where they've come, how far they've come. And they've done it their way. You know, there has been adjustments throughout this campaign. In terms of, being a bit more defensive minded at times when you have to be, which you absolutely do against the bigger sides. But they've come into this campaign and Celtic have played their way, and I think that's exactly what Brendan Rodgers wants. It's what the players want. They put so much into the game tonight. It's a cruel blow at the end, but even then, it's an unbelievable save for Kasper Schmeichel. I don't think that Cameron Carter-Vickers can do anything else, because you're looking and saying, oh, he clears it and Alphonso Davies tackles him, but he's never going to try and swing at that with his left foot because he's more chance of putting it into the net himself. He's done everything he can, and they've just slightly come up short in terms of the result, but performance-wise, you can't fault them. You can't fault anything about the performance tonight.
It was inches. It was inches. Alphonso Davies gets his left foot in the way of Carter Vickers' attempted clearance, and it's inches. You know, That's what separated. It's come off. It's come off Alphonso Davies.
And what followed, Tom, we're just seeing the replays here, is that one of these snapshots that will go down in the history books, the Celtic players just crashing to the turf. All their efforts, there's no way back, 30 seconds to go. You can see and we've used the word devastation on these players, but as you say, in time, and we don't know how long it'll take, but they'll realise what they've achieved in Europe this season, and they'll take confidence, they'll build on that.
Yeah, you'd have to think so. They will. They'll take confidence once the wounds heal, and I don't think it will take that long, to be honest, for the wounds to heal. These guys, these are elite sports people. They're resilient. They know they've got a job to do next week and the week after and the week after that. But what they will be doing is they will be refocusing themselves. I mean, the league is going to be won, but they'll refocus to make sure the league is won and to get into the Champions League again next season, to have another bite at this, because this is only going to, it's going to hurt, but it's going to whet their appetite. They want more of this. They want another crack at the Bayerns and the elites. And I think they'll be better for it. I think they will be better for it. I know it's hard to say now, but it's a tough school, this, isn't it? And I think they've done brilliantly this season. They'll be back. I'm pretty sure of that.